for that ball. He just thought, I'm going to go for distance. And Tom Lynch got to the front. Cox marks the ball and he gives it back.
Yeah, when you turn it over there, it slides out. Should be a goal and well converted.
Yeah, coaches love you taking the risk, and as long as it comes off. But a turnover there, they hate it.
Yes.
So the Tigers get their nose in front again. Rioli's got 2 for the Tigers. Tracy has 3 for the Dockers. Light in the ruck against Voss. Charging through Dow. Handball picked off by Sarong. Fires it out to Bolton. Bolton on the edge of the circle. Penetrating, long, looking for Tracy. Well done by Miller. Tapped it down. Miller gets it back. Breaks the tackle as well. Stands up well to McIntosh. Waits for it at the back. Loops it up. And then he's kicked almost to Pearce. Coming in, making life really difficult for him there. Draper. They're under the pump. Spinning out of trouble was Chapman. Back to Ryan. And Ryan can calm things down over to Brennan Cox, one of 3 South Australians in the team for Fremantle this afternoon. Dudley is also one of them. He is the sub today, and Michael Frederick as well as the Dockers take it round the outer side. It's flicked down by Short. Hopper, weaving. Dow, Hopper, Glostone. Might get caught over possessing it here, the Tigers. Banfield goes backwards, and now Sarong.
They've got some
great smother. Well done by Chisais. And then Sarong makes up for his error with a big crunching tackle on Short.
They had to go with hands there, the Dockers, because if you look forward, which we have the luxury of doing, they had a 2-on-5 in favour of the Tigers backman.
Freo hurriedly inside the forward 50 as Broad comes out to meet it. Just a double fister over the fence.
So just looking at all the numbers, very, very even game. All the contested possession, ground ball gets, clearance numbers inside 50. Pretty much even at this early stage of the game, and it is reflected in the score. It's a really tight contest. Both teams getting plenty of opportunities to score.
4 early lead changes. And here's Hayden Young, who sent it inside 50, trying to lay the tackle on Ralph Smith, and the boundary line wins out again. Interestingly, the dimensions of the ground, so 158 by 120. You're probably wondering what does all that mean. So compared to Optus Stadium, it's 7 metres shorter, 10 metres skinnier. So not too much of a difference. And from the G, it's 4 metres shorter, but 19 metres skinnier. There's Murphy Reid. Such fancy footwork as he then swings a kick goalward but misses.
He's a talent, Murphy Reid. Last week, when it really mattered most, he got to the right spots. He only had 4 goal assists last week, 3 the week before, and of course, that debut against Geelong.
Just kicked it to himself on the kick in and then able to retrieve it and gain a bit more yardage, but Draper reads it best. Goes backwards to Warner. He's going to retrieve all the way back to the skipper and Alex Pearce. Sharp at time as a bounce assesses the options. Bolton with a bottler in the Barossa. Oh. He's paid for a shepherd holding out even though he took the grab. He moves it quickly. And the Tigers fans say justice is served out of bounds on the full with a kick. Look at this leap. The excitement machine.
That is fantastic. In fact, memories of Gary Ablett Sr.
Unbelievable leaping ability, doesn't he? Shea Bolton from a standing start. Yeah, that kind of levitation as Broad goes long up to the wing. Hand on it from Chapman. Spills out of bounds.
Maybe a question for Doom. Can you get mark of the week if it was technically a free kick? They might have just robbed him of something there.
I don't know whether they did pay the mark, so watch it spill.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, it spills. That view doesn't show it. It was a great leap. He's almost taken mark of the week 2 weeks in a row.
Almost.
Dockers through.
Oh, that's what Nankervis brings to the table. He's one of those ruckmen who's he's borderline nasty.
Jesus, drilled Voss in that tackle. His Nake gives it away to Brown. The kick heads up over halfway, but Cox Going to pick it off for Fremantle.
Keeping a very close eye on what McIntosh is doing. So he's trying to get to Sarong when he's the main man in the middle and or Young. So big task for him today.
Back in the same direction. Amos punches at corridor.
Hands.
Work out for the Tigers. Hopper traps it. He's Nankervis caught.
So we're going to look another look here. So you've got Young and Sarong both in there, and McIntosh, just as they're going around that. There's plenty of blocks going on because Johnson's trying to get to Taranto. McIntosh is sticking hard to Sarong. There's plenty going on around the midfield.
Darcy to Young, the two on the return. Make it 3 to Switkowski as he kicks inside the forward 50. Tracy, he's got 3 already, and now he's got a chance to make it 4.
He went away from the pack there. Beautiful kick at Josh Tracy, but Tyler Sonsi in that part of the ground, it's danger. He just played outer side of him, and he allowed Switkowski to get inside with a step, and that's a pretty easy kick to make.
It'll be 4 1/4. A Murphy Reid manoeuvre, of course. Kicked 4 in 6 minutes. Way back in round 1 against Geelong. Tracy for his 4th. It misses.
You can just see that breeze a little bit dull. It will tail it to the right down that end. But he started the match on fire.
That's a good smother by Frederick. To his best last week, played a really good game in that win over the Dogs. It was a cracker of a game.
They're getting a forward half game, the Dockers, so that's 7 intercepts, or at least chains that they've created from their forward half.
Twirling ball back into play, Switkowski. Dispossessed. Hard ball to be won.
Just watching, he's going to step into screen here. Frederick will come to the outward side, the centre side of the pack. He doesn't really track the ball, but he just tries to get through to the attacking side.
He's got Paddy Dow for company. In the end, Sarong says, I'll try and do it with a don't argue. The umpire says, holding the ball.
Right call, trying to take the tackle on. Great tackle.
Thompson Dow, rather.
Really impressive tackle. Sarong was bursting through. He's been in a few little scuffles early, hasn't he?
Oh, he's angry, isn't
he?
Yeah. He looks like one of these blokes who says, I'm only going to play well if I'm angry. So let's start it.
Josh Carr, a former teammate of mine, was a bit like that.
I was about to ask you for some names, Stern. Guys he would have played with over the years.
Dermot has said himself.
Yes.
No, good afternoon to Dipper.
His trainer now off the back flank, goes wide with the kick, and Jaden Short. Here he's, keep a look out for Toby Nankervis here. Leans back in and just gives one to Caleb Sarong. It doesn't tickle.
Neither does that.
Oh, we've got his mic open. He's breathing hard.
Jeez. All the best of that umpire. More on that in a moment as Richmond work it down to half forward. Rioli's had a hot start as well. Swings a hand pass back into the middle of the ground. Johnson got it away to Young. Inside the forward 50. A little rusty on that kick as it skids away, and Broad should be able to collect and does.
Well done to that umpire. He's got up. He's sucked in the deep ones, and he's adjudicating this ball.
Yeah. Short and Taranto link up. Short comes wide for Floston.
Great kick.
As the centering kick finds McIntosh. Still sporting that headband. He goes down to half forward, and Luke Ryan in All Australian back pocket whacks it out of play. So there you go. You just heard that from the umpires. We're going to go to 3. This is Paul Rebuscini, the umpire, who clashed heads there with Jaden Short. So they're going to drop down to 3 umpires. And Rebuscini will go and be checked out, make sure he's all okay.
Tigers by 3 points. Nankervis. Off a tackle by Brayshaw. He's being told, the umpire, that he has to leave the ground. Darcy snaffles it out of the ruck. Reid, little toe poke, picked up by Brown. McIntosh dispossessed. Witkowski head over the footy. Ball to be won here. Brayshaw with the tackle.
Let's have a look at there. This is the Fremantle forward line. Hayden Young's gone to full forward. So Josh Tracy playing that key forward in front of him, but that's where they're going to rest him. Deep forward.
Great tap. Darcy straight down to Brayshaw. Skies the ball. Good spoil from Broad. He's got Trainer there. Stolen by Young. Swings around on the left. It's a high ball. Tracy in the middle. And waiting at the back. Taking the relieving defensive mark is Brown.
Finds Banks. And Tasmanian swings his hand pass boundary side to the runner Broad. Long down the wing, and Ryan, as he so often does, picks it off. Freo come back corridor. 4 lead changes already in this opening term. Freo trying to make it 5 as Clark to O'Meara, broken up. The Dockers away anyway. Chapman kicks inside the forward 50. Frederick the target. Yeah, trainer, very professionally done, finds the boundary.
Yeah, they've just had more of the inside 50s his last few minutes. So what it was pretty even. It's now 15-7. They just haven't been able to capitalise on that score, the Dockers. It's been points rather than goals, but some disconnect between the way the Tigers want to move the ball in between the arcs at the moment.
Darcy, trainer, stripped. Free kick, Dockers.
Went into his exit move before he totally secured the ball and worked out what he wanted. You're right, Matthew, that it's just been clunky coming from half back to half forward for the Tigers for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
So a chance here for Murphy Reid.
Oh, nice.
And he does play on. And he curls it round nicely, and Fremantle's back in front.
So a bit of reward for effort. 16 inside 50s now to 7, and it's 8 shots at goal. You're right. They get it to a composed possession, the Tigers, sort of around that half-back area, and then they're not able to exit, and it means that you get a repeat inside 50 like this, and that's the new interpretation, or the stricter interpretation that we've seen a fair bit this year. That is holding the ball.
It's almost too honest. If he just turtles up, shells up there and absorbs the tackle, it's another ball up.
He's a talent, this kid, though, Murphy Reid. Been really important the first few weeks. He makes great decisions. Have a look at that shot. Beautiful Barossa Valley.
The Tigers, the coalface. Taranto to Ross. And comes wide to Ralph Smith. And for his first game since the final round last year. He played with his old man, at Hawthorn, Sean Ralph Smith.
Oh, that's a very clever, nagging type, unsettling spoil by the captain, Alex Pearce, on Tom Lynch. Just a mini check with the arm, shoulder, unsettle his run at the ball.
Positive start for the Tigers. 5 lead changes in this opening term. Richmond with 4 goals. Something they'd only done collectively for the first 4 rounds. They kicked 4 1/4. Back out of play again.
So we'll see another stoppage here. We've talked about it a little bit, but McIntosh is certainly trying to get to Caleb Sarong. I think that's why he's having a chat to the umpire, saying he's pushing me, he's pinching me, he's holding me. That's his job, though. He's done it well across the first few weeks. Lots of blocks here between Brayshaw and Sarong. Taranto in there as well.
The hot day as Darcy down towards O'Meara comes wide with the kick. It's back out of play. Interestingly, Fremantle have now played under the heat policy in all 5 games this year, so extra time allowed at the quarter break, so they'll drift out to 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's been really, really warm in Perth, and they've run into a hot one down in Geelong and then a hot one here in the Barossa. It's you think it's an advantageous to a certain extent.
And they're going to head to the shade or maybe indoors at quarter time. So Tigers share it around by hand. McIntosh quick. Ralph Smith drops it, regathers, gives it off to Short. Hopper. And he can use Ross, who's got a paddock. Has a bounce, has another bounce. Fast Freddy's bearing down over to Short. He has to just bomb it long. Big pack forms, all skittled. And rushing it through was Chapman.
That is so frustrating. That first bounce that came from this wing, Tom Lynch was on a lead and he saw the bounce and then doubles back and they still don't give it to him. It's frustrating when they don't recognise the key forward in a good position, and it's a settled set shot at goal if they give it.
Rocket mark, trainer. Up strong, the young man hangs on to it.
This is when you shouldn't go long because there's a huge outnumber.
Top of the goal square, they come from all directions. Spills down to Draper. And a handball away to Chapman. To Brayshaw on the bell. And the Dockers with a slight lead at the quarter break. So 4th time in as many games, the Dockers lead at quarter time. But gee, Richmond, hang up for this. 5 lead changes. And after the Tigers led by 11 points at one stage, it's the Dockers who are on top at the quarter break. They've kicked 3 of the last 4. Fremantle 4-4, leading Richmond 4-2. This is where we are, the beautiful Barossa. What a setting in regional South Australia as gather round rolls on. Quarter time at Barossa Park.
All right, folks. Good morning, good afternoon. It's a shaky start there from the Fremantle Dockers, who finally hit the front, 4-4-28. The Tigers, 4-2-26. Tigers led the way most of that first quarter. The Dockers just pegged back. Come on, flag mantle from Addy G. I tell you what, it's a nervous start for you Fremantle followers out there. Carly, Tina, Shouty, welcome in, everybody. I forgot to put one thing over. Let me just put this over there. Just wanted to have a look. We didn't see at the beginning the ins and outs for both teams. The ins were Ralph Smith, Rioli, and Foley came in for Richmond. Going out were Layla Armstrong-Smith. Fool's a new player, and the sub is Bauer. Of course, the debut game is for Jonty Phil. Of course, for the Dockers, Young, Schwitzgorski, and Darcy coming in. Going out, Wagner, O'Driscoll, Jackson, Dudley is the sub. All right, let's have a quick look at the goal scorers stats while we've got a moment here. There we go. Leading goal scorer. Wow, Josh Tracy already got 3 goals in the first term. He could be in for a big haul there for the Dockers. Murphy Reid there, the other single goal scorer for the Dockers. And of course, for the Tigers, Morris Rioli. He's the only multiple for the Tigers with 2. Sunsei with 1 and McIntosh with 1. Disposal getter Jacob Hopper. He's hopping around the ground everywhere. He's topping the table with 11 for the Tigers. Jaden Short and McIntosh next best on 8. Shai Bolton, I keep saying what a fantastic pickup he was for the Dockers. Tops the table for the Dockers on 8. There we go. Let me just roll down a little bit. Tim Taranto on 7. There we go. Josh Tracy on 6 there for the Dockers. Nan Curvis, the big man's doing all right. 6 touches there for the Tigers. 1 handball. 1 kick, 5 handballs. 13 hit-outs. To tell you what, she's a pretty warm day over there in Adelaide, down at Barossa. It's be about 30 degrees. She's a hot day to be playing football. For everyone, they'll certainly be feeling it. They'll have the wet towels, the fans going, the ice packs. Everything to keep them cool. Of course, the heat policy will be in. They'll be taking an extra couple of minutes at quarter time and 3/4 time breaks. That's what they've been doing, folks, in the heat policy of the AFL football. They just add a couple of minutes on into the breaks. Tom Lynch, really quiet there for the Tigers. Just the 2 touches, 1 kick, 1 handball. That is it. No score. There we go. Looking forward to Michael Frederick's game also. He's only had the 1 touch there for the Dockers, but it should be a ring-a-ding-ding game. There we go. There's only 2 points in it up until quarter time. And don't forget, put your vote in. Who's going to win? So far, 57% saying the Fremantle Dockers. I tell you what, it's going to be an interesting game. Both teams out on the road, of course, playing over there in Adelaide, gather round. Going to be absolutely fantastic. Don't forget the other 2 games following this one. The last 2 games are gather around to St Kilda and the GWS Giants. That's coming up at 3:20 p.m. Melbourne time. And, of course, the final game of round 5 is Port Adelaide versus Hawthorn. That should be a little bit of a spanking. I think Hawthorn will get up over Port Adelaide. St Kilda going pretty good. I think there could be a big chance to roll the Giants. But in this game, this is a tight old game. I don't know who to tip. Maybe what about the Tigers? We'll go somewhere different. Maybe tip the Tigers. This could be anyone's game. There we go. All right, we are back in about 1 minute for the bounce of the ball for the second term. It's going to be a fascinating game, this one. Dockers coming off a nice win there last week. Of course, the Tigers, tenacious Tigers with all the youngsters out there. Well, they'll be giving it their best shot. Freo easily, you reckon, ADG? Maybe they might just pull away. I tell you what, this is a game they've got to win. This is a must-win for Freo. This is probably one they're expected to win. But anything can happen. All right, let's get back down to the ground. We're only 38 seconds away from the bounce of the ball for the second term. Whereas the Dockers by 2 points.
Final play to kick 3 or more in a quarter since Matthew Pavlich, the greatest docker of them all, with us here at Barossa Park today in 2012.
That's a long time ago. 2012. That's a very long time ago.
Talk us through how he did it.
Firstly, good ball movement up the ground obviously helps key forwards, but what he did very well was get out the back of his opponent on a couple of occasions. You see it here again. So Miller's trying to play assertive, and when you get some free ball movement or clean ball movement up the field, it makes the world of difference. This one was really clever though, because this came from a centre square bounce. He actually almost ticked up at Shea Bolton for a brief moment, then hopped in behind, and he probably should have had 4. He had a set shot from a bit of a distance out, 45 metres or so, but just sprayed it to the right. But the scenes here, Derm, as we have a look at this shot with the rolling hills in the background, it's beautiful to be here and beautiful to see a pretty high-scoring first quarter.
Yeah, I loved it. The only thing I would say, the fearful aspect for Richmond is the Dockers are 2 points ahead. They've kicked their 4 as well, but they've done it with 7 more inside 50s against the Blues. If they get 17 inside 50s going to the right-hand side of the screen, it could be big.
Tim, we could have a new competition going. So, of course, Spud famously had his golden fist, maybe the almost mark of the year. This is Shea Bolton last week. Look how high he gets there.
He went past the catch area of the ball.
He did it again.
He had to reach down. Watch this. Oh, he tries to cup the hands there. Last week it was knuckles down trying to mark it on the ball's dropping on him. Yeah. Oh, look at that shot. Oh, magnificent. But here's a talent that you can have all the structure, all the way you want to play, the game plans and the large, but if you've got talent like Shea Bolton, wow.
See how dry it is everywhere else except for...
Let's have a look at the umpire.
Good to see him back out there.
Yeah, he's going to play on.
It shows you, I mean, wasn't one of the big guys. I think it was Jaden Short ran into him. And you heard the umpire.
Oh, it's like a whiplash.
Yeah.
When you're not sort of unsuspecting, aren't you?
Some of those old
You're
footage,
relaxed.
the old footage of umpires getting tipped, and I remember the goal umpire in one of the final series back in the 60s. He like he been shot. He went down 3 times. That was real.
That's tough.
That was real. Well done,
I did a lunch on Friday in the City Derm with a Carlton great Jimmy Buckley, and he had a few stories about umpires. Not sure I can broadcast any of them, but...
Did you notice my hesitation to comment? Hello to Jimmy. What a great
He's
bloke.
here in Adelaide taking it all in.
Tell you what a player, and how tough was he?
Just brought back memories of State of Origin. So they're all talking about the State of Origin, of course, the great games played between South Australia and Victoria.
Bring it back, Kel. Bring it back.
Yeah, bring back in South Australia. Just brings back those memories.
You see the Dockers making their way back out there. Now the team's going inside at quarter time, which explains to you how hot it is. So headed towards a forecast of 33 in the Barossa. And we can kick it down to Nick Del Santo. Nick.
Well, it was similar to last week. Good efficiency once he went inside forward 50. How to get more entries?
Yeah. Obviously, we've got a really strong midfield, and the clearance game's not up to standard just yet. So we'll have some little adjustments with that, but we need some more supply.
And defensively, obviously the Freo Dockers getting the ball in there quite a bit, and Tracy's getting on the end of it. Stick with what you got, or do you need to make a change?
No, we'll stick with what we've got. The volume of entry, I don't think anyone can defend that. So, they've got some good players. They're a good team, and we're in for a fight.
Appreciate your time. Thanks, Oos.
Thank you.
The supporters from the Dockers are going to keep a sharp eye on this quarter. I reckon he might bag 2 or 3 out the back into open goals. Fredericks. He's got some wheels. His opponent is one of the guys who has to be attacking in Jaden Short.
Yeah, well, Frederick would take him up the ground, which is probably what Richmond like, because they want to get the ball in his hands. But you're right, out the back, Michael Frederick is blistering.
Nankervis and Darcy are in new hostilities. Taranto can't get it clear. Darcy does. Slapped down, though, by Nankervis. The way of Clark, and he's got wheels. He gets on those wheels. Sarong, little fumble.
Nice step.
Gets himself out of trouble and delivers over the head of Brayshaw in the end. And now the turnover. Charging out of that defensive 50 was short. He hits up Ross. Loops the handball over Taranto. What has he seen inside 50? Lynch goes up high with the knees into the back of Alex Pearce, who plugged the hole, and that was brave.
Yeah, they do that well. Fremantle with Alex Pearce and Cox and Ryan and Draper. That talks about them being tall. Well, if you're going to be tall, you're going to have to intercept Mark.
Long down the line kick. Flying through Voss. Taranto to McIntosh, to Vlosten, and back to Short. So a few of the Premiership Tigers linking up there. As the kick comes from Trezise, goes out wide, and Ralph Smith. Play on. Crowded forward 50, as you can see. As he just lays it up to the hot spot. They come from all directions. Spills down to Draper. Brayshaw, hand pass broken up. Dowdy well to win it back. Falls, somehow jams it on the boot. Here's Cox sliding in for Fremantle. Brayshaw very well again in time. Got it out, and the Dockers rebound off the back flank as Jaggers kick.
We just saw an example there where if Richmond's tackle pressure is up, if their forward half pressure is on, they can turn the ball over here on the Dockers. They love to flick it around. They like to handball receive. We'll have your pressure late.
Toss long down the wing through the hands of Broad. He hands it off to Trezise and swings it back for the Tigers.
So Miller can set something up. Oh, that's awkward. He's put his teammate Short under pressure. Can he get the kick away just in time?
Yeah, well played.
Just in the nick of time to Miller. Tracy bearing down. He goes high. Fly in front by Pearce. Follow up his own good work. In the end, it's too many Tigers jumpers and Ralph Smith comes back in, brought his handball straight to Pearce. I believe his luck lands in his lap. And it'll be a free kick to Swansea.
For a brief moment, we got a bit of cloud cover for a bit of respite. So this is hard yards for big Tom Lynch here when it's a slow play, a breeze. So it's you can predict where it's going, but so too can the backman.
Final contact, Richmond. Floston's kick is going to result in Richmond keeping possession. Ralph Smith gets the free after not quite taking the mark, and great service straight to big Tiger Tom Lynch.
So what he did, he came up, he didn't get onto that lead, but as soon as he saw that Ralph Smith go into that ball, he hightailed it and went back towards goal. He was in line for the next kick forward. So he was pretty well set before the likes of the midfield and the other support backmen get back to chop off that area.
The oldest member of the Richmond team again today, Tom Lynch. How quickly that changes from the Gold Coast Suns skipper. Two-time premiership winner, right peg against the fence, but that is superb. What a finish. And the Tigers are right on today.
It's a good leading pattern from Lynch and a wonderful finish, but go back to the kick or the spoil where by Mira, it's almost out of bounds. You could almost afford him just to juggle that over and not give away the free kick. And look at this tick. So that's a really smart one from Lynch. It's a bit too easy.
He's created his own space there, hasn't he? Run out of his own zone, turns around and comes back in on the lead.
Yeah, good pictures of the craft that Tom Lynch possesses as a forward. Bit too easy though, if you're a Dockers fan at home.
So 1 goal in round 1, suspended. 1 goal round 3, 1 goal round 4, and now 1 goal round 5 for Tom Lynch. He's been consistent. He said in the pre-match he would have liked a little bit of a lift from him.
He's worked hard. He's been ignored a couple of times by Richmond midfielders.
Dow delivers, goes unkind bounce for Steely Green. Chapman's there. Ralph Smith's got him. Chapman's going nowhere.
Great decision. He cradled it in one arm. He didn't have prior, but he cradled it in one arm and he could have put it on the boot if he wanted to.
Ralph Smith, one of 3 inclusions at selection this week to Taranto. Eyes are darting. It's a rocket. Down to Green. Hard up against the boundary line. Oh, Steely Green!
So, Matthew, we spoke before the game. Yes, they are a very good back line. Yes, they support each other in the air. How good are they going to be on the ground level?
Yeah. What a finish this was from Green. Absolutely outstanding. Let's have a look where he comes from. He's just there at the front of the stoppage and Chapman lapses for half a second. That is a terrific finish. That's a beauty. Look at the celebration here.
They just play with so much fun, these young Tigers, don't they? They bring a smile to your face. There's that sort of raw determination, but I just love the way they've got a little bit of the Hawks, what we saw last year. I mean, they're still young, still developing, but That was a highly skilled goal.
Heath Chapman struggled to cover him once it became a ground level ball. Heath Chapman 193, and I don't think he would have played too much small back roles in his formative years of learning the game.
Yeah, 4 on inside 50s to... This is going to be a 5th inside 50 for the Tigers. They've just come out breathing fire in this second term.
Well, that hurt them, Hank. He got a knee in the back.
They are rolling at the moment. Curvis to McIntosh.
He's been given the signal, go deep.
McIntosh into the breeze, pumps it into the forward pocket. Lynch, fair play on it. Can't complete the mark. Cox got it away to Sharp, and now to Warner. Kick smothered. Great desperation. Forces the ball out of play.
Yeah, the Tigers have been fantastic. Let's have a look. Is this a free kick here? The arm? Yeah, there might have been a free kick there. Duckers have started their second tour really poorly, but gee, the Tigers are up and about.
Having said that, Tom would look at that and say, I dropped that.
Yeah.
Down it comes, Rioli lurking. Young.
It's a bit of afters with the big nank on everything, isn't there?
Bit of GST.
Got cream on top of that.
6 lead changes, 5 of them in the opening quarter. The Tigers right up for this today. O'Meara to Sharp, the Brayshaw back to Sharp. He's a good runner and he bursts away, puts it out in front of Tracy. Has to get to it on the hop. Trying to turn Miller inside out. Looks inside the forward arc. Murphy Reid running to the right spots again. Close to the boundary line. He's caught. He's in trouble.
This is awesome by the young Tigers. They're up for the tackle and they're just putting pressure on. Let's be honest, how long will it hold? We hope it holds right through to the final sign. But it is fantastic. It is game on. They want a physical outing here.
And they're prepared to use the corridor. They're prepared to take it on. They've just been full of run. First 2 goals to start this second quarter. He guides that cautiously to McIntosh. Yellow and black in the crowd, 10,000 in the house today for this one at Barossa Park. Is Jonty, gets a kick away on debut for loose ball. Who wants it most? Crashing in was Darcy, and then they crash on top of him. Freo by 2 points at quarter time. Tigers now have got the lead to 10. Darcy. Straight down to Dow, to Brown. Keeps it low. It's like a dart. Steely Green spinning over to Ross. And they are turning it on, these Tigers, but just floats wide.
Yeah, it's the clearance and the contest at the moment. Just outpointing the Dockers. Richmond are a bit concerning for Fremantle. They just can't get their hands on the ball.
So this will have to go to Tracy.
Pierce kicks it in that direction, and he makes a contest, builds down in front of Banfield, down in the other direction, wins it for the Ticks. Banks to Hopper, shakes one tackle, has to try and evade Brayshaw. Not many do that.
Well, you speak about that disposal count, Pav, it's 139, the Tigers are just 95 Freo, and it's a 1-to-1 kick-to-handball ratio by the Tigers, so they are challenging with their use by hand.
5 of the last 6 goals going to the northern end, despite the fact the breeze favouring the right of screen where Freo are going. As Brayshaw down to half forward, clever Banfield just paddles it into the path of Showtime. Shea Bolton, he collects, shrugs a tackle, unselfish, sets up Frederick, goal. What the Dockers needed.
You called for a bit of Michael Frederick. It wasn't out the back, but it
was ahead of his opponent short. He's always going to be going goal side, and he's Toby Short's not slow.
You can just see him there. So he's gone up for a little tick lead. What about this from Bailey Banfield? Brilliant. And then Short's a long way away here from Frederick.
Yeah. Track the ball for the first 15 steps in this vision.
It's a bit easy, isn't it? Bolting into an open goal. Clever from Bolton, clever from Banfield. And the elite run from Frederick. Needed that one, Freo, because as Dow pointed out, they just can't get their hands on the ball. Well, they haven't been in the first 7 or so minutes of this second term. Richmond really taking it to them.
Michael Frederick. He's got the family up from Adelaide. He was born in Adelaide, grew up in the northern suburbs, and of course his twin Martin is now playing in the SANFL for Sturt, trying to get another crack at the AFL.
That was well done by Tommy Dow. Disposed of his opponent, got the ball.
Curvis.
So you can see there, Richmond forward is it Campbell? Yeah, he's gone up inside the stoppage for an extra number. Jordan Clark's just off the back. You heard Adam Uze at quarter time talking about throwing something different at the Dockers.
Banfield fires out a handball to Young. Squirts it wide, too wide, in fact, for Amos.
Good matchup that. Amos will have Broad for a little bit of size and reach. Broad will be able to cover the leading pace.
And that's his strength, Amos, that pace.
Yeah,
It's,
the Broad's
ability.
genuinely fast.
Yeah.
Then Curvis, Ralph Smith, a little lucky there. And then Curvis big mitt. And then his big boot goes long. Cox with the spoil. At ground level, sharp. Back to Cox, bearing down his blight. Good tackle applied. The pressure results in a Tigers ball. Hurried kick. Who will it favour? Lynch grabs it. He's grabbed by Ryan. He gets it off to Jonty Ford, and it's a no one home. O'Meara. He's got plenty of space to have a couple of bounces. Now he could go wide to Frederick. Instead he goes longer. It's a little riskier to Banfield, and Banfield will win the free. He's going to go back. He's going to go back. He saw he was surrounded by 3 Tigers, and he thought better of it as Tracy jogs back, looks to go down into the heart of the 50.
He's a thinker, Banfield, isn't he?
Yep.
Leads on by Reed is ignored. At Boston for company. Banfield to the hot spot, to the teeth of goal. Who's there at the back? Bolton needs to get on his bike, and he doesn't. And it's well done by Banks, trainer. Ralph Smith, strong mark.
Looks corridor. Played some bold footy today, the Tigers.
That's a great run, great kick.
To trainer. He's got it on the back flank. Into space. Green out there with Chapman. Green turns him inside out. Keeps it alive. Chapman on him now.
Keep your feet.
And Chapman wins the footy. Here's the old lesson for all the juniors out there. She's met hard by Curvis. He appears to be okay. The Dockers keep it rolling. Kick inside 50. Fast Freddie out after it, close to the boundary line, and out it goes.
That was another classic case of the big neck giving a little bit of afters.
He came off the long run, didn't he, Derb?
Oh, yeah. Yep. And the coach said, where's the free? They got the free, but they took the advantage.
Harley Mountstaff for Justin Longmuir as well. Sean Darcy on his return today. Knee and ankle surgery since he was last out there. Ned Curvis got it down. Banks for the hands of Hopper, and now to Trezise. He comes wide. And Ralph Smith has got it again on a half-back. So scoring slowed a little here after actually a hot start. 8 goals in the opening term and 6 lead changes.
Just lost their balance around the stoppage a bit, Fremantle.
I was about to say Ralph Smith's getting busy, but that kick lets his teammates down.
Did Ben Curvis ever get to play against Shane Mumford?
Oh, I'm sure he would have.
Did, yes.
That would have been a good matchup.
Yes. A bit of nasties going on.
So the free kick here for the Dockers.
Yeah, and even numbers ahead of the play.
Johnson's got it. Started this game on the bench. Luke Ryan peeled around his back. Johnson ignored. Instead, he's just going to go the high. Looking for Tracy. Almost had a double grabber. Tackle to the turf.
They are looking for him. He talked about a
Every time.
presence or that intimidating factor. Now the players know from the Dockers' perspective, where is he? I want to kick the ball to him because he's playing with that presence about him.
Cross in the ruck against Blight. Blight does well. Handball by Brown's got to be quick from Sonsi. It was stolen by O'Meara on the outside of his right boot. Well, it got the distance. No. Punched through in the end.
And so when you're the second forward is Amos, we talked about this a little bit last week. The second banana, I think you called it a couple of times.
It's a difficult role.
Yeah.
So what you've got to get dangerous, but you can't cut across the leading path or the area your number 1 forward wants.
So what would your advice be to Jai Amos?
To go and engage alongside Tracy and actually block and get some space himself, and actually that also help him get into the game, because that creates confusion for your opponent, and also change it up, get up around the ball a bit more.
Blight flies for it. Spills down. Green was involved there. Lynch collects. Hold up. That one day, didn't he, get in the derby where he kicked 4 goals, and outside of that, Jai Amos, he's got just 2 others for the year. Goalless once and 1 in the other 2 games. Goalless so far today.
He still hasn't had a disposal Giants. It's been down there a little bit in the first quarter, but it was all about Tracy. Only 60, only been inside forward 50 a couple of times this quarter.
Johnson to Voss and McIntosh like a backpack. Voss able to shake him but coughs it up. Ross, long kick inside the forward arc for the Tigers. Draper does well to knock it away. Sonsie left it behind. Draper goes and gets it a second time. O'Meara away to Chapman, sweeping Polyfarmer, hand pass finds Young. Now to Sarong, good build up from the Dockers. And here's Shea Bolton. Hand pass away to Sarong. Gives it back to Hayden Young. Geez, a long way from home. He's a long kick of the three. Young talent time in the Barossa.
Tim, I love nothing more than a player taking the responsibility on from outside 50 or on 50 and having the shot at goal, because it's almost abdicating responsibility sometimes. Have a look at this piggyback though, the big Vossinator. Just shrugging him off.
That is quite powerful.
But what I liked here was Caleb Sarong. So the run, the carry from the back half, we've talked about it, and then Young says, I'll take the responsibility and I'll finish the work.
Clearly he summed it up, and that was the best option available to him.
And generally speaking, he does make sound decisions, Hayden Young. You can see him, so they're resting him forward, saying to Giant, it's okay, well, I'm having my spell. I've been up around the ball. He's had 9 disposals and to go. Been important. Andy Brayshaw, along with Jacob Hopper, the two midfielders with the most disposals at the moment.
7 lead changes. Dockers back in front. Rising high was Voss. At ground level, Hopper, he's been busy as well. McIntosh fighting, scrapping. Trying to fire it out. Sarong with a little toe poke. To Blight, to McIntosh. He goes to ground. Still he fights on. Desperate stuff from the veteran in McIntosh. Now a little toe poke in there from Sarong. He might win it eventually. He does. Another 4-0 forward here. Does it sit for Tracy or does it beat him? It beats him and it runs over.
Can I just say that is leadership right there by Camden McIntosh. He covered 15 metres in the centre circle. 14 of them were on his hands and knees. That is desperation that the other young players see and say, we're learning from that.
He's lost his headband in all that desperation.
Well, he was at knee height with his head for most of that play.
So Brown for the Tigers. Clears it. Pierce. Oh, he wants 50. He's asking the question.
Title to it as well.
Once upon a time it would have been. So the skipper gives it to Sarong off a step. He goes towards Tracy. He is unstoppable on the lead.
Nick Del Sando, you're about 45 metres away from that. Did you hear the clunk?
Sounded like a pure strike, didn't it? Derm off the boot.
Yes.
And just the involvement of Sarong and Young in the last couple of minutes. They've been relatively quiet and then they've got their hands on the football and good things have happened for the Dockers.
So Tracy, big deep breath. Kicked 3 in the first quarter. Could have kicked 4. The big key forward with the big boot.
Oh, yeah.
When you're hot, and Tracy's hot.
So they braved the Tigers, but in the first quarter, the Dockers just couldn't nail those extra goals. With the last 6-7 minutes, it looked like the Tigers, as brave as they were fatiguing. The Dockers are starting to take a toll in these final few minutes as fatigue sets in.
Yeah, Sarong started to step up. You called it down. 8 disposals. Once he and Young and those types get the ball in hand, something happens.
Game 61 for Josh Tracy. Just the 4th time he's kicked 4 or more goals. He's got a career best of 5. It's a whole lot of footy to play down.
There is. You're going to add to it.
He's up for 15 for the year as well. Corbs. Ben King leads the way in the Coleman with 17.
Be in danger by the end of the day as well. As Darcy, great service down to Brayshaw, fights through the tackle again. Sarong involved once more, long to the goal square. Young, fair pace of it. Couldn't quite complete it on the way down. Trainer knocked it away. He's Banks to Broad. And the goal square comes wide to McIntosh. I was down at Punt Road during the week and they did inform me that the headband, despite a lot of other players in the competition sort of wear them perhaps for the aesthetics, that this is a very practical reason for Camden McIntosh as he comes wide with the kick. It's sunscreen in the pre-season. He hasn't got a lot of feathers up top, and as a result, the sunscreen, when you sweat, as you know, lads, it can drip, and that's not very good when it gets in the eye. So that's why he's sporting the headband. As Richmond win it back, Hopper to Brown, long kick to Lynch, one out with Pearce. That's a good mark. Tom Lynch just wins the one-on-one battle clean, kicks it downhill, running onto it, Campbell, but Chapman too good.
Yeah, he had to get more dangerous. Sonsi, who was to the spine and drag his opponent away.
Sharp.
Well defended, though.
Third bounce. He can keep going if he wants. Eventually, he delivers onto the chest of Reed. Will reel around and he wants to go.
The big fella.
He skies it. Amos is down there. Young too. They were the targets. Under the pump, this young under siege Tigers defence waiting at the back. Raw. He's the experienced one. He handballs over to his premiership teammate in short, who dribbles it. Puts Floston under the pump. Could be a turnover here. Miller's happy just to hold it up.
So that's one of the areas for the Tigers where they do have experience in defence. They've got a couple of young players down there, but they've got some real senior heads for these types of moments as well.
Darcy flicks it down, and the Tigers at ground level. Taranto, Trainer, and a boundary throw-in. Right the giant screen out there with the rolling hills in the background. Adam Uze wouldn't be worried about the scenes, the picturesque at the moment. He's just looking at those Dockers jumpers, trying to work his way through this one. They led by 11 earlier in the term. It's Freo by 8.
Off membership for Adam Uze too, by the way. Congratulations to him on game 300 today. 271 as a player and now 29 as a senior coach. There's Richmond through the middle of the ground. Good kick from Trainer. Just landed short of his intended target. Made it tough for Blight. Hitting up is Chapman. Shakes the Rioli tackle. Got it out to Brayshaw.
Got to stick that, Rioli.
Brayshaw to the wing. Well wide. Rolls past Voss and out of play.
He's had a couple of big important moments. Heath Chapman in his second term. He talked about him playing on smaller players.
Yeah.
You're right about the tackle. Did need to stick that. But he reads the ball well, Heath Chapman. Important defender. Having to play smaller, as you called it earlier, but doing it well this quarter.
It's a rarity, isn't it? We often talk about players playing tall. Go the other way, though.
He's been important, Andy Brayshaw.
Good this quarter.
5 tackles, and had a lot of the ball as well. He's fighting through some of the Richmond tackles as well.
Kicks inside the forward 50. 2 hands on it from Young, who now looks like a threat going forward. His first game back from injury. Short. Sweeping hand pass to Banks. One kick down the wing for the Tigers. Bit of momentum for Freo. Richmond trying to halt that. He's Blight. Defensive job on Andrews last week. Swings it to Hopper. Back to Blight. Handball away to Nankervis. She needs a bit of support. Sonsi lends that. Back to Hopper. Back to Banks. Kick chopped out. Freo, good pressure. Win it back. The Dockers away with it. Clark looks up front. Great kick, and Amos hitting up, takes the mark. And Jai's got it just left of centre.
So Clark he's done it a couple of times, both last week when it mattered against the Bulldogs, but turn the ball over, but actually drive with the legs instead of using a handball. You can see him on screen sucking the big ones, but drive with the legs and kick it inside forward 50 rather than there was a handball there for Bolton, but when it's been turned over and the defence is chaotic, get it in there quickly to your forwards.
Tracy on the bench, about to come back on.
He's a straight kick of the footy, as the name would suggest. It's the first time he's felt it today.
Absolutely was him. There was nothing short of that.
Well, that Michael Johnson's had him a good 15 minutes, 4 contested possessions. They've only gone inside 6 times for 3 goals in the last 15 minutes. So if they're going in, they're scoring. 3 goals, 1 in fact.
Oh, that's a risky kick. Oh, and it might come off. It's skittled. Ross went straight through his legs. It's going to come back to Sarong. Puts it out in front of Voss. And Voss shoves Trainer, the teenager, over the line afterwards. And Jaden Short doesn't like it and just lets him know about it.
But free kick, look, it's not dangerous. It's not into the fence. It's not nasty. It's just unwarranted.
Not necessary. Brown. Defensive goal square. Wide, he flicks it to Broad.
They're actually defending all right.
So just a little bit of feeling suddenly bubbling away. Voston goes to ground, turns and ask the question.
Oh, that's staying.
That is a little casual from Nathan Broad. And a free kick to the Dockers for out of bounds on the floor. Oh, he's asking the question. No. It's a throw-in. They had a chat.
Did he step out before he kicked it? Well, he's gone back to where he was kicking from. They normally allow you a little bit of grace to bring the ball back in.
It's a let-off.
Flick back in. Nankervis easily gets rid of Tracy. That's a clever flick by Short. Up to Ralph Smith, Taranto. But used Banks, ignored him, instead goes with the kick. A sit from Blight. Unable to get it. Burst of speed by Clark. Shares it around to Warner. Through the centre, this is Johnson. And they've overpossessed it under the pump. Ross had his error from a few moments ago with a big tackle.
Huge pressure from the Tigers. Great tackle from Ross, but there's the difference. Clark got it and went quickly inside 50. On occasion, there was the extra handle from Johnson, setting his team up under enormous pressure.
Switkowski. Put it out to Ryan. Two-time All-Australian. To O'Meara. A shoot by Ralph Smith. To get a hurry on. Bolton's got the sit. And Shea Bolton booms up in the forward pocket.
He must be a nightmare to play on. Are you playing as a small backman, or are you playing as a tall backman trying to stop him marking it like that?
He had his name written all over that, didn't he?
That's a really good kick from O'Meara. Just used his legs a little bit more, took his grass in front of him and was able to drive it in deep to Bolton.
Showtime Shea Bolton on the drop point. He misses wildly.
Where did he do that?
You've caught the commentator's skills.
He's brought up a great point about Jago O'Meara. He can actually estimate the chasing player when he's going to get to him, and he estimates to the millisecond to deliver the ball before, and that way he gets full maximum ground take up of the ground before he kicks.
Yeah, it's really important, isn't it, to use that space, because it allows the forward a little bit extra time to get to work.
Precise long on the left, looking for Blighton and Curvis. At ground level, Clark. It's a great start to the season. Running half-back for the Dockers. His delivery inside 50 will be a free kick to Trainer.
The better of the last 5 or 6 minutes of this quarter, the Dockers, they just haven't been able to hit the scoreboard, which is good news for Richmond fans. They've been able to hold up defensively and go in at half-time with only a small lead against them.
Dow. Kick the first two to jump out to an 11-point lead in their second term. And that is trying to go into ground again, and now the Dockers on the turnover. This is where they can torch you. Bolton goes long, goes for home. It's into the post. He was there anyway. He nearly collected the post.
Yes, he almost went into the post because he was tracking the footy.
Yeah, so they've had 16 inside 50s this quarter, the Dockers, for only 6 shots at goal. They've done really well, Richmond, to hold up. Only a 10-point lead for Freo.
He's running under the footy now, Jacob Blight. He took a couple of clunks in the marks in the first quarter, but he's even into the wind as the lead-up forward, allowing Tom Lynch to sit back. He's running himself under the footy.
Tigers with the first 2 in his second term, Fremantle with the next 3. And as a result, here's the Dockers, who lead it by 8 at the half. In fact, make that 10. As you can see below, 7-7 plays 6-3, so a 10-point advantage for the Dockers at half-time. And for Richmond, they still haven't led at a quarter break this year, and there's a bit of feeling in this right on the belt too. That's good. Jeremy Sharp and Tim Taranto just need a little bit of assistance to separate from one another. The boys will make their way off for a well-deserved break at the half on what is a hot day out in the Barossa, a stunning setting for footy. And so far, it's delivered a pretty impressive game at that. We've had 7 lead changes so far, and Fremantle by 10 at the half. Second half action not far away. We'll pull it all apart next.
All right, we've got a doozy of a game here. She's pretty tight. Sorry, folks, the scoreboard just was on delay a little bit there for a moment through that second turn, but all good now. It's the Dockers 7-6, 48, leading the Tigers 6-3, 39. Ooh, the Tigers 2 goals, 1 in that second term. Dockers 3 goals, 2. We've got a tight match. I tell you what, this is a game that could go any which way you want. I tell you what, you'd be pretty happy if you're a Tigers fan. They're playing pretty good. I like the way they play. They're giving it a good crack here, the Tigers, today, and anyone's going to win this game. I know we've got a few Fremantle supporters in the chat today. I guess we've got a few Richmond supporters in the chat today. Let me just have a look. Yeah, Fremantle, we've got 64% voting for Fremantle to win this game. I still can't pick it because I know what the Tigers can do. I know what the Dockers can do. Anyway, let's just duck over and have a look at the goal scorers now. Josh Tracy on his way. Have a look at that, folks. 4 goals up until half time. He's had his 8 disposals, all kicks, 8 kicks for 4 goals, 1. Tell you what, he's kicking nice and straight. He's the man that the Dockers want to get the ball in the hands of, Josh Tracy, and he'll slot it through the big sticks for them. Hayden Young, single. Murphy Reid, single. And Michael Frederick, single there for the Dockers. For the Tigers, Morris Rioli doesn't add to his tally with 2. He's got 2 for the Tigers with Sonsei, McIntosh, and Tom Lynch. And Green Tom Lynch kicked a great goal from the boundary. Very acute, tight angle, so that was a bit of a ripper from Tom. And not really getting the delivery down there to him today at the moment. All right, let's have a look at the leading disposal getters. Jacob Hopper doing well, 20 disposals for the Tigers. The only one in the 20s at the moment up until half-time. 4 kicks, 16 handballs. He's had a mark of 4 tackles and 4 clearances. Tim Taranto giving a little bit of lip to the Freo players as they walk off at half-time. He's had 17. Andy Brayshaw, well, he's climbing in his possession count. He's up to 16 for the Dockers. 6 kicks, 10 handballs, 5 tackles, 5 clearances. He's doing well. Jaden Short continues his merry way. He's on 15 for the Tigers. And Caleb Strong, also one of the other stars of the Dockers, up to 15. Let's just roll down. Shai Bolton with 13 touches, 8 kicks. Oh, I'll tell you what, he's just a little bit skew with his kicking. Only 3 behinds. He would have liked to have slotted a goal or 2 out of that. But just the 3 behinds for him. Let's roll down. Jager O'Meara just on 9. Tell you what, he's having a bit quiet, isn't he, for the Dockers? It's all right, we'll see how he fares in the second half. Sonsei was 6 disposals, 2 kicks. He kicked 1 goal. And, of course, Tom Lynch, a little bit quiet. Maybe he needs to get up the ground a little bit just to try and get the ball in his hands a little bit. Bring him into the play. He's had 5 touches, 3 kicks, and he kicked that fantastic goal right on the boundary. Just have a look at the team stats here. There we go. It's the Tigers by 50 in the team stats. In the disposals overall, not too bad. 25 kicks plus, and of course 24 handballs plus. Inside 50s though, well, the Tigers having a little bit of trouble getting it inside their 50. They've had 9 scoring shots though for their 19 inside 50s. They'll need to try and lift that inside 50 count and try and press the Dockers a little bit more. Dockers, however, 32 inside 50s for 14 scoring shots. They're getting plenty of it. Disposal efficiency around the ground, pretty good for both teams. 79.6 for the Tigers. Fantastic up until half-time. 74.9 for the Dockers, going pretty well. Free kicks, not a great deal in the free kicks. 11-9. The hit-outs, Tigers +4. Clearances +2 to the Dockers as the centre clearances. Stoppage clearances all tied up. Contested possessions pretty tight. Uncontested, just controlling the ball a little bit more at times with the Tigers. 48 plus. The Tigers, well, they just had the ball in a bit more of their hands, as you can see with the marking, with the uncontested +20 in that. But the Dockers tackling nicely. I should say the Dockers are marking nicely inside their forward 50, 8-2. Dockers defence holding up pretty well and not allowing too much space for the Tiger players up forward 50, and just looking at the tackle count, a little bit the same, 5-1 inside tackles for the Dockers, 30 to that. All right, let's get back down to the commentators. I'll give us a little bit of an analysis on the opening half.
second quarter. They were right on top of the Tigers. They didn't quite capitalise on that dominance in the midfield, but then the likes of Hayden Young and Caleb Sarong really started to get to worked out, and it gave them some opportunities finally inside their forward 50.
Brayshaw's been consistent throughout the course of this whole game. Those two guys that just finished off that nice passage of play have been relatively quiet until the last 10 or so minutes of that second quarter, Pat. When good players get their hands on the footy, good things often happen. And when Young got the ball a little bit more, I thought he presented really well. Also coming out of the
threat, wasn't he? Yeah.
Just missed a couple of opportunities, but it was good to see him launching at the football. But Sarong was the one that got to work late. He's up to 13 disposals and using it much better than he was in the first quarter.
And as a forward, Young, you touched on him. He's almost clunked two of them, like 20 metres out. He's had 1, 2, 3 grabs, but didn't secure.
And what he does well, if the ball hits the ground, he looks dangerous and a threat as well. So not only in the air, but on the ground, when there's an opportunity, he looks like he can score.
All credit, Nick, to the Dockers midfield, because the Tigers have come to play. If you're a Tiger supporter, you want to see effort, because some teams in the AFL at the moment aren't giving all that much. The Tigers are giving everything they've got in the midfield, and their pressure is up.
It's not through lack of effort. So that's the one piece. Can you tick that off? Yes, you can at half-time. The Tigers are giving effort. They've actually had 49 more disposals. 49.
Yeah.
But they've only had the 17 inside 50s to them. So what does that say? They're using the ball well between the back half and probably through the middle of the ground, but they're not able to progress post there, given that the Freo have great stability behind the football. But their effort has been great.
You can see, well, effort is normally pressure related in some way, shape or form. You can see what happened in round one. They lift their pressure. They beat the Blues in round one. They don't expect a victory. And then it probably dropped to it was inconsistent for particular games, but it's right on today.
Now, the big challenge is, yes, it is hot, but young teams fall away in the second half when things get a little bit tougher and fatigue sets in. So that's their challenge.
I loved it how Camden McIntosh crawled after the ball in the middle. He covered so much ground on his knees. Hey, there is a little bit of a sideshow going on. How good could Shea Bolton be? On this day, he's almost given us 2 monster highlights.
He has. He's almost had about 4 shots at goal as well. He just hasn't quite finished his work off, but we love seeing the best players play well. You talk about some of the midfielders. This guy, he's an absolute star now, and he's that sort of almost missing piece of the puzzle for the Fremantle forward line at playing tall and small.
It's a funny space because the anticipation of him doing something special is as good as when he actually does it to him. He was a little bit lazy on that last set shot. That was an absolute soda for someone of his skill level. Just leant back on it and didn't capitalise.
Well, it is gather round, boys. Have you've been to the Norwood Festival before, Pat?
You know what? I haven't. Oh, wow. Might be going there this afternoon.
We're gearing up for the game after this one at the Norwood Oval and the Norwood Festival. It is awesome. It is fantastic. But it's still on here at the Barossa Park. It is Fremantle by 10.
Mark Prosciutto and Alistair Lynch. Mark.
Richie, welcome to Adelaide. We've turned it on for you.
Oh, how good's this? Like 32 degrees, gather round has been unbelievable again with some great games.
Yep.
And they've just taken to another level with this.
Well, we're at the Nord Food and Wine Festival now. There's over 70,000 people here last year. It'll be bigger this year. 50 food and beverage outlets to go. The footy festival for the kids. Everything's free. And there's a game of footy on later. We better get back for that.
So they reckon. GWS taking on the Saints. I was there at Norwood Oval, and you know, having played there many years ago, the atmosphere with a full house at Norwood's first
brilliant.
class. Brisbane taking on the Bulldogs. I reckon we could go to a similar sort of level with the Saints taking on the Giants.
Well, GWS is just starting to get the full strength. St Kilda have won their last 3 as well, so it's going to be a great game today. Jesse Hogan kicked 9 last week. Jack McRae's been awesome for the Saints. It's going to be a tight one.
And I think the Saints have probably surprised a few. And as you said, like across the board, the Giants are so good. They've got Sam Taylor down back, cross half back. You know, their runners, Whitfield off half back. It should be a great contest in tight confines of Norwood Oval.
Well, let's try not to have too many wines before the game, and you try not to have too many kebabs, and we'll be good to go.
We may see you at game time.
Gee, dangerous already, Roo, out there on the parade. What a setting that is, and hopefully it's half as good as the game that we got yesterday between the Bulldogs and the Lions, as the Lions remain perfect on the season. That's the setting here in the Barossa. I think we've drawn well. It is Fremantle by 10 points at halftime. The second half only moments away.
And now they converge. It bobbles around in there. Brayshaw with the tackle. And the double tackle pinged McIntosh. Sarong one side, Brayshaw the other. And the terrific twosome. So he flicks it out wide. Looking for Johnson in a one-on-one battle, and well, there is Banks. So the Dockers kicked the last 3. Had 7 lead changes. It's been a really entertaining clash. The other rounds delivered everything so far, but we've had a couple of blowouts. Will this one go the distance? Fresh airy by the rucks. Campbell overruns it. Fredericks there. Almost a give it was in the end to Johnson. And now the kick from well outside 50 is offline by Jordan Clark, floating down from the half-back line.
He sneaks under the radar, the boy Matthew Johnson.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Yeah. Look, he's only in his 3rd season, I think, when they took the likes of Jai Amos, Neil Erasmus and Matt Johnson. Johnson was the 3rd taken in that draft a couple of years ago now. They've always rated him, but he's sort of been in and out of the side, but he definitely has some high-end ability.
First pick of the 2nd round that year, considered somewhat of a draft slider. So free kick here for Warner.
Big space to lead up to.
Carl Warner, the 22-year-old in his 12th game. Kicks to the hot spot. Amos down there on the pack. Punched away. Tracy at the drop. He was taken high. And Josh Tracy is going to get an opportunity to make it an equal career best early in the 3rd.
Well, when you're a key forward, you don't always have to be the one that's flying and being the absolute one that they're kicking the ball to. This occasion, he crumbed that one. He was in a good position and pops the free kick.
A few deep breaths. Yeah, the hot start, of course, heading towards the northern end. Kicked 3 goals this end of the 1st quarter. He moves in. He's now got 5. And the big kahuna with a big day out.
So the start of this term, reasonably well. It's only a couple of minutes in, but the ball's been in their forward half. A couple of repeat entries. A couple of shots to go. Here is Tracy. So Amos and Darcy are the ones that fly for that one. It's just smart play from the key forward. Staying involved, he's a presence both in the air and on the ground, and probably just a little sloppy with the free kick there.
So he follows in the footsteps of Ben King yesterday for the Suns, who kicked 5 goals straight here. We've still got a long way to go. He's got 5-1 for the afternoon. Equals his career PB. He soars up the ladder when it comes to the leaderboard for the Coleman. King on 17. He joins Fogarty, Darcy Fogarty and Larkey on 16. Taranto pounces. Brayshaw wraps him up. Takes him high.
That's a good example of Andy Brayshaw, how important he is. Taranto was almost out there, but he just made a beeline for that tackle. That's his 6th for the day.
I said mine, not high. And he's got it. Here goes Clark bursting through, and then he slips over. Eyes at the handball. Sarong, eyes only on the ball. And the umpire says, yes, that is a push in the back. It'll come back to Sarong.
Got to hang on here, the Tigers.
Warrigal Wizard spears the pass. How good was that to Frederick?
Yeah.
Bullet-like pass.
Yeah, they need to hang on here, Tigers. You feel that the Freo Dockers are just ready to drop the hammer. Nice hands.
Yeah, good elevation, wasn't it?
Yep. He's got some physical gifts, hasn't he?
Kicked 6 goals so far this year. He's already kicked 1 this afternoon. One of 3 South Australians in the team. And he's enjoying being back in his home state.
It's coming out the centre, it's going to the left-hand side of the screen, and it's showing no signs whatsoever of going back in the opposite direction. Tackle here, caught behind Taranto. He thinks he's got the ball, he's laid the tackle, he wants the handball there, doesn't give it. I don't think it was directed to him.
No, it wasn't behind him, but good elevation. Talk about his physical traits.
Yeah.
They're important to use them well.
And a lot of the fans call Fast Freddy. Interestingly, the boys, his teammates often call him Rick, which I'm not sure how we can get some alliteration for that. Maybe Really Fast Rick or something like that might work out.
It's just the last 4 letters of his surname,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's something a little bit different. And Fremantle, all of a sudden, their game high advantage grows, 23 points. So Darcy whacks it forward for the Dockers. Unkind bounce for Tracy. Murphy Reid a chance here on it. Broad tackles him. Clever. Amos just knocks it away to Young. Now to Frederick, right on cue. Handball to Jager, picked off. And Morris Rioli goes darting away. And his dad's old number. Desperate effort. Brayshaw stopped his run and now he's caught.
He got his heel clipped.
Frederick inside 50. They're on the overlap and Bolton.
Was he feel for it?
Yeah.
The tackle was legitimately at his hips, but I reckon the hand clips the back of his heel.
The desperation from Brayshaw was just outstanding, but I think you're right, it did.
Is it, even if it's an accidental clip, is it still a free kick if you're in possession?
You can't accidentally get someone high, can you?
Have a look,
You
have a
still
look.
get them high.
Yeah, he hits his right foot.
That's a free kick.
And I loved his evasive action there. I thought he was going to do a Cyril dance stick then.
So the no whistle results in a shot at goal for the Dockers, and Showtime Shea Bolton shows off to his old mates.
Hang in there, Tigers. They're having a go. They've just got to step up in class under fatigue here now. Fight the fight.
They were unlucky on that occasion. Really should have had the free kick, but the chase of the determination from Brayshaw, we've highlighted it plenty of times. I mean, that's what he brings every week, 100% determination. So there's a mistake made from O'Meara.
This was great by Rioli too. There's the on the back of the right heel. Tumble, turn and keeps the ball. Highlights on both sides. Just a little bit of information for the umpires as well. Number 31, Paul Rebashini, had an HIA test. He passed that. And he will be sent off later under the doctor's instructions for scans on his shoulder.
Vancouver straight down the throat of Hopper to McIntosh, and now pouncing on it was Rioli. It's battened down. Brayshaw again with a tackle. So the Tigers have brought the energy, Dern. They've brought the pressure. They got the Dockers a little worried in that first half, but they're fun and exciting to watch. The danger signs are starting to flash here. Frederick forced to handball into space. Tigers pounce. McIntosh high. And on the end of it is Brennan Cox.
So with that much space in front of Jacob Blight or Big Tom Lynch, that's a chip kick and allow them to run onto the ball at their pace. It's not a long kick for distance. That suits the backman playing behind.
Chapman, a little bit of a dash. Makes it difficult for Clark, can't keep it in.
Well, it's been obvious to start this third quarter that the Tigers are under pressure. This is their opportunity, particularly with their leaders, to control the contest. So start at the stoppages, allow yourself to get front half pressure by getting in your front half and set up defensively behind that. That's how they can minimise the momentum of the Dockers.
Kick 6 in a row, Fremantle. I mentioned Rebashini. Gurmey's he's not out there, so started his second half, so hopefully that shoulder is all okay after passing the initial HIA. Campbell inside the forward 50. Cox close to the boundary line, finds the safety of it. So we're down to 3, which we've run obviously for many years anyway, so now the 3 umpires. Jankowskis, Jones and Nichols.
Not an enormous man, Jaden Short, who ran into Paul Rebashini, but he ran in at speed, so let's hope his shoulder's okay.
Not at all expecting contact when it happened, which also plays a part. Pack forms behind the rucks there. Hopper tries to get it out. Banfield tackled, lost it. One says keep rolling. Sarong swings it forward. Frederick had it, tackled. And now Brayshaw. Ooh, gives it to Sarong. He wasn't looking. Dow's back on it. Tigers the other way. Somsey into the pocket. Too wide.
This is better from Richmond, that pressure, the ability to win a couple of clearances and keep it in your forward half when it looked as though Brayshaw and Sarong were out, but that pressure's been missing in this first 5 minutes, but they've brought it now.
And they break a run of 6 consecutive goals here, bracketed 3 either side. Bracketed from half-time. And Curvis tries to take it all upon himself, but it was a wonderful smother by the desperate Dockers defence. Chapman Rioli's tackle affects the kick. Young rises high and takes a lovely mark over Boston.
Now, we spoke about that at half-time, didn't we? The threat aerially that he has when he goes forward.
That's so good.
Yeah.
DJI Mira or bearing down. Hopper. Back to Young. Safety down the line. Tracy's got to sit here. Great spoil from behind by Miller. Spills the way, though, of Brayshaw. Comes to Banfield. And then Brown kicking it off at half-back.
He's got some players inboard
Oh,
here.
that'd be a good kick, and it was. It was wonderful, in fact. To Dow over the top to Campbell, who's got some pace about him. He delivers quickly, and on the end of it for the Tigers is Blight.
Now, if they allow you and you see the player and you know the player further afield is a long kicker, and if the backman allows you, you play from behind. That's what he was able to do here, Jacob Blight. He got the first drop when he read the turnover.
It was a great kicking board, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Opened it all up. Wonderful disposal.
Well, he's a WA boy from Albany, played in Peel in the Waffles. And that's a much-needed goal for the Tigers.
The cameraman just getting involved.
Great work.
Work on the technique, perhaps, but no, great to see this.
So this is the kick.
Look at this.
Yep.
So high risk but high reward, because they were all at sea, the Fremantle defence. As soon as that hit inside on the 45, you talk about the space out the back. You're allowed to get in behind your defender if your opponent's up the field, have space in front, and carry on the kick, and he did so on that occasion.
Interestingly, Derby had a jumper change in the off-season, Jacob Blight. He went from 51 to 46.
46, I know, yes.
5 lockers. Jeez, we've heard usually your big heavy number, you might make your way down to Main Street and get one of the single digits, but just 5
Something with a 3 in front of it.
Back in the middle. Sharp comes off the wing and he's tackled immediately.
And 46 was vacated by Ben Miller.
Yeah.
Who came down to number 12.
So after the first 5 minutes, just in terms of some stats, the Dockers were 5 zip in clearance, and the Tigers have actually evened it all up now. So good response here from Richmond.
Trainer stripped off it. In the middle, Johnson. It's Freo going. Frederick needs a kind bounce. Well on Brown. Attacks the footy, wins it. Gets back on the left peg, pokes the kick down the wing, and Ralph Smith
He's got
overhead.
He's got one-on-ones ahead and inboard.
Spots his intended target in Ross, who immediately looks for home. A long-range kick misses everything.
So you see that there. You see how Jacob Blight was running back, tracking that ball. So much space around him. Clever user. Pops that in there, and he takes an easy mark and has an easy shot.
Ross was having a ping as soon as he got that.
Yep.
Chapman. We've got Banfield. Just squeezed it in. Brings it over to Ryan. Got time to assess. Spins out of one would-be tackler. Brayshaw. Poise. Look at that. The composure. Frederick right on the 50, and Tracy in some space in the left forward pocket. He's going to line up for goal number 6, Derm.
He is as good as I have seen of a key forward who leads at the ball carrier. I'm not used. Bang. He's back into a dangerous spot.
So he's kicked 5 goals just once in his career. That was round 18 last year against the same team, against the Tigers. He's never kicked 6.
This won't be an easy shot. It will swing from left to right, so it has to start it pretty hard at this left-hand goalpost.
We're right behind him. The camera operator. And he splits the middle. He strikes that to perfection, and it's Super 6 for Tracy.
He said, I've got it in hand. I'm not worried about you, old timer, up here, but he hit it beautifully, didn't he?
So this is a great play. Key forwards, not too many do this. Right now, he watches this ball flick inside. He's on the lead up. And now he turns around. And he'll be, because he's not used, and he goes deep. Yep. And he's going to go past. See there, you're all seeing him through the bottom of the screen.
Miller just needs some body on him, though. Push him out the way.
Yeah.
Can't allow that. So it's great forward craft. You're right, the repeat effort. So you're not used in the first lead. You might not be used on the second lead. And then you hook back around and create the space behind you. Miller needs some body contact, though, to push him off his line and away from where he wants to run.
The modern day vernacular for that is the bumper bar.
Yeah, correct.
Good take.
Coming off the square, Banfield collects and held up straight away after the Curvis hit out.
There's a quick whistle on the tackle.
Do it again, Nat Curvis grabs it out of the right, got it to Brown. Richmond with a bit of go forward here. Uncommon bounce for Blight. Chance for Green, runs onto a big tackle. Pearce locks him up. And the Fremantle skipper makes sure he is going nowhere.
I've seen some fierce tackles as this one carries on.
The Tigers don't like it. They reckon there was a bit of a sling on the end of that.
Okay.
And field umpire.
That's our game, though. I reckon that's an awesome tackle.
Yeah.
Was it high? Oh, no, that's a clean tackle. Fierce tackle as well from the skipper. That's a beauty.
He ended up putting him down half gently, too.
Forward 50 stoppage for the Tigers. Banfield kicks it out of defence, finds the boundary. Oh, it's all okay with that. Richmond faithful wanted insufficient intent. There's Adamuze. You see the pressure factor in this quarter. Fremantle's off the charts.
Yeah.
And that's why they lead this game. They've kicked 4 goals to 1 in the quarter. And if you extend it back, they've kicked 7 of the last 8.
Blight flicked it behind him. Clark was there, though, for the Dockers through Voss and Banfield, and now Switkowski can have a bounce as he crosses the midfield. He's looking for Tracy, had to back. Well done by Broad, coming off his man, helping out Miller, who's been brought down in a tackle. Oh, no, he must have had a certainly worthy of asking the question there.
I think he knew he was going to get tackled, so he wasn't going to try and handball and just puppy dog eyes to the umpire. No prior ump. You've got to let me away with this one.
Voss down to Amos, dispossessed, and he's taken Dow high.
Now, there's such a concentration of players in that shot there. If you spread and roll quickly, you'll get it forward of the centre in no time. It's stodgy, slow play there.
Plenty of Tigers fans have made the trip over from Victoria.
You can see how it is a bit narrow, this ground here at Barossa Park.
Oh, trainers tried to take Frederick on. He's brave.
Not here.
Too brave. Some would say silly, but they might get themselves out of trouble here. Brown's played a good game.
Now, that's the Clint Eastwood rule. You've got to know your limitations, especially if the man in front of you is probably going to race for Australia at the next Olympics.
Brain fade, wasn't it? I think he thought about it and I'll do it, and then he looked up and went, oh.
Oh, you're not. He looks kind of quick. Oh, well played.
Voss, favoured by the throw-in, uses the body well, kicks deep to fall forward. Amos the target, Broad spoils. Here's Murphy Reid trying to work his way through. Can't quite control it, and then becomes tackler. Forces it out again. Floston to Campbell, back to Trainer. And to get out of here kick. Up to the wing. Finds the safety of the boundary line.
Nick Del Santo, a lot of the day today, as we said before, I've been tracking Tom Lynch. He's slow to get to the other side when the ball changes direction. I don't know if he's got his tankers as anywhere near deep as it used to be.
It's probably a fair assessment, Derm, and also probably just the lack of consistency with their ball movement that makes it difficult for him to read the cues and know exactly where to be. By saying that, the Freo Dockers have held a very strong defensive 5 or 6 at all times, so there isn't a lot of space for him to work into. And when there has been some gaps, he's been covered by someone a little bit further up the ground. So he's in a really tough position.
Another stoppage coming up here as Dow's helped out. So 6 goals so far for Josh Tracy. It's interesting when you look at the top end of most goals in a game for your club, Pav. Only one man's ever got to double digits.
Tony Modra.
9 for your good self. It was a personal best, and Paul Madhurst also kicked 9. And also got quite a few 8s on that list as well. As the boundary throw in here. Results in a big tackle on Banfield. Fremantle come up with it anyway. Fend off from O'Meara. Just get off him. A 1-2 with Clark. And O'Meara will swing it wide and found Warner.
Yeah, their pressure's been late this quarter. The Dockers, we saw the stat up earlier, well above 200. They may have turned the ball over when Richmond looked to be out.
Tough play on is the call. Fremantle with it on the wing. As the kick heads deep inside the forward 50, but Floston able to pick off the Banfield kick. Has it at half-back. The Premiership Tiger is one of 6 out there today, sharing 15 medals. In fact, it's 7 and 17 if you include the 2 that Shea Bolton holds, obviously in a different jumper.
Trainer a little proppy as he takes that mark and flicks the kick out wide. Ross has it.
If he can go very deep, Tim Taranto's out the back.
Instead, he's looking for Lynch, man in front. Outstretched arms, taking it at its peak. Was Alex Pearce, the captain, and he can give it to Frederick. Who could go, but instead he's going to loop this pass over the shot. So good.
Super.
Great positioning as well, wasn't it? Because he had to really take a risk as that Richmond player was streaming forward. Tom Lynch had to sit on him.
29 years of age. Pav, it's sort of been the theme this weekend. A bit like wine, isn't it? The older you get, the better you get. Pendles and side bottom.
Well, they've got gaps and holes now, the Tides, as they're trying to defend the ground, the ball movement. They're picking their way through here. That's a good, well done, Hugo.
Yeah, Ralph Smith just floating across in front and chopping that off. It was a pass from Matty Johnson trying to hit up sharp, and it wasn't that.
So once again, this becomes, they haven't scored for a while, Freo, but it's danger time when fatigue sets in like this for the younger team. And Freo use the ball so well.
And they've been so good. You don't want them to wilt in the heat here, but it is the biggest lead of the afternoon after the Tigers led by as much as 12 late in the first term. Taranto won't be going anywhere.
Sean Darcy back into the side.
Yeah, thoughts?
Yeah, I was just going to ask Derm the question. I think he's been solid, and Big Nan Curtis, the ruckman and skipper from the Tigers, has been good as well. It's been a great matchup.
Darcy this time wins the hit out. Johnson, Young on the left. Little low ball to Miller, faked one way, then comes the way of Trainer. Only played a handful of games. It's a high ball. Rioli will wait and leave it. And leaping across was Warner.
Just couldn't make the contest then, Tom.
Kicks the centre half forward. Oh, Amira. The contact in his back, and Voss knocked into him.
He's important for the Dockers, Amira.
Kicks into the forward pocket. That's a good intercept mark. Ben Miller. Be high up in their best and fairest, wouldn't he?
Well, the thing is, they've got such a gun midfield, but they're all genuinely young men. That's not good. They're genuinely still young men. And yet you've got a bloke who's a 10-year veteran who's come into their team in the last 2 years who can give them that maturity around the middle of the ground when things are needed like that.
Tom Brown with the clanger, Freo back with it. Johnson kicks inside the forward 50, and Alex Pearce, if you don't mind, floated inside the forward 50.
So I think Tom Lynch was gassed. I said he couldn't make that contest. He ran straight to the bench. The new man runs on, doesn't get dangerous, and Alex Pearce says, here's my moment. He runs forward.
Just smart play, isn't it? Particularly if you've got ball in hand as your team.
He's only kicked, Alex Pearce, in his career so far, just the 5 goals. This is game number 127. The drop punt from the skipper. That's how it's done.
They'll come from everywhere.
He did kick one last year, and that is his first goal since round 12, round 11 last year against the Pies in the draw. And Alex Pearce, there's something special, isn't there, when the fullback gets a chance to run forward and slam on through.
Purely on the back of Tom Lynch going on gas, don't need a break.
Well, he's had a good day, Alex Pearce. He's set marking and setting up lots of rebounds, and here is his moment. Did it pretty well. And the Dockers celebrate.
Imagine that's the best little trot in footy after you're full back and you get to kick one through the big sticks and then go all the way to the other end.
Yeah, feel good, very good about yourself, wouldn't you, trotting back?
Listen to the warm applause as he makes his way back to the defensive goal square for the Dockers. Great stuff.
Good tap.
Hopper. It was from short, under pressure though, comes back Hopper's way. A bouncing ball, Sharp takes it on the bounce over to Chapman. But Bolton, still plenty of time in this game. There's sort of 1:45 to go. Oh, Bolton's a little sore.
Get him off, get a sire on. You want to see a sire Dudley out there?
Dudley out there, and of course Bauer is the sub.
Is that cramp?
Tigers.
It's on the left calf. Yeah, cramp.
So Chapman, driving ball. Ball up.
Now ball up, one came over the shoulder.
Shea Bolton has had some calf issues, so they'll be very keen to get him off and check him out, even if it is cramp. the ball here.
Short. With a
Take him off.
long ball. Campbell. Brown. Oh, that just popped up anxiously in the air for the Tigers and allowed Sarong to roll back onto it.
You want to get some footy into your younger side, Dudley, as well. So, yeah, just take him off. You're 6 goals up.
Warner. And he's able to hit up Johnston, who's within range, and will go back and have a set shot. Dudley, South Australian as well. I saw him training in Tanunda yesterday, and his mum was right by his side. So, mum's here, and the family and friends. As he made his way off the ground, he was a fan favourite, Derm. All the fans were around asking for autographs, and his mum was standing right alongside him, proud as punch.
He looks like he's cut from the Eddie Betts mould, where he's just happy, just loving what he's doing.
So, Johnson to add his name to the goal kickers list.
There we go.
Absolute misfire, and Tracy's there and he's thinking, why not? When you've kicked 6 goals, your career PB.
And while that was occurring, Bolton did come from the ground. He's made his way to the bench, and we'll wait to see if they want to activate their sub.
Hopefully that's just Krampus. You outlined, of course, miss round 1. Shea Bolton, the trip to Geelong. His new team. Here's Bates. He's guarding away with it. Went for Trainer, missed him, now out of play.
So it's one of those rare circumstances with the ruckman here. Matthew, you mentioned before. I think they've both done really well. The conditions are probably against them. There's about 230 kilos of flesh going in that mix-up. And he's immovable, Darcy. And Nankervis has got such good craft.
Yeah, I think for Sean Darcy to come back, you think about hit-outs and where they sit. It's been pretty even, and Curvis has probably had a little bit more impact at the stoppages, but neither of them around the ground have had much impact.
Of course, I would say rush back, and maybe he was due to come back anyway. Had one hit out for Peel, but perhaps a little more urgent given the unavailability of Luke Jackson, who surprisingly, I couldn't believe it when I was running through this during the week. This is the first time he's ever missed for Fremantle.
Luke Jackson, yeah.
So he played 50 games, all of them since he turned out for Fremantle on the bounce. So,
and that matchup as well, so that combination, should I say, between Darcy and Jackson is a really good one when they're at their best.
Luke Ryan getting forward. It's a day for the defenders to try and pose an option in front of the sticks. No mark there from Voss. Brown, the 1-2 with Broad. Brown under pressure, close to the boundary line. Or Voss just clearing some bodies out of the way. And now a high tackle, free kick going Richmond's way, and Shaw will get it in the back pocket.
Get a look at the lad Jonty Fall. If they come down the line, he'll get a run at it here against Alex Pearce.
He's presented well at times.
Yeah.
Today really led well up at the ball carrier, and he's athletic. You can see why they liked him. Pick 14 in last year's draft.
So Sonsi, they've ignored him so far. Here's a chance. He's in a wrestle with Pearce.
Alex Pearce, there's just a little hole from Fall, but he's had a good turn.
Jacob White got held as well, but he was further away from the ball.
John T learning the AFL lessons the hard way, giving away a free there to the Fremantle skipper, Alex Pearce. Still plenty of time for him to get involved in his very first game of AFL footy as the Dockers springboard off half-back. Spoil. Home from Broad. And it's held up once again. A couple of minutes to go before three-quarter time. Fremantle by 2 points at quarter time. Freo by 10 at half-time. And they've kicked the last couple. In fact, they've kicked there's 8 of the last 9 goals here at the Barossa Valley.
Tigers did lead by 11 points both in the first and second quarters. As Chapman feeds Brayshaw. And he decides to bang it long inside the forward 50. Good punch from Miller. Finds a safety at the boundary line.
They've had a big tackle quarter at the Dockers, 22-10. So, yep, they've had more of the ball. They've had 83 disposals to Richmond's at 54, but their tackle pressure, 22-10, have really upped the ante.
And once again, into the wind in this third quarter, 7-16 in their favour for inside 50s. It gives you an illustration of the domination they've held in the midfield. There's one thrown to the deck.
Sarong's going to get it. Yeah. And tangled with Jacob Hopper. So the Fremantle champ, All-Australian last year. Back-to-back Doig medalist as the premier player at the club. Took 23 and 24, kicks to full forward, backing back, hand on it from Nankervis. Frederick had a play on it. Voss gets a few bodies out of the way and kicks it over his head. He's got berserk. Paddy Voss is off to the races.
Oh, he did it last week when Murphy Reid kicked a goal. We went the other direction this week.
That is the fastest I've ever seen him run. Do that when you're on the lead, Bossy. But it was fantastic.
What about
You power shrugged him off.
Let's have a look at the Bunnings build-up here, boys, in regards to this goal.
It's a bit of a fumble, wasn't it, from Frederick? And then the big fella went, whooshka.
Oh, look at him go.
Just getting his GPS numbers up.
That is awesome.
So good.
You know what? These boys are professionals. They get paid really, really well. They're looked after. But when you see the sheer enjoyment like that, you know they love the game.
It's just like he was 6 or 7 years old again. He snapped a beauty in the backyard.
Oh, that's Little League stuff. That was awesome.
Yeah, love it. That's what I love about the young Tigers. They do bring the fun, even though they are fading here. As the Dockers build again. Brown and Young in a one-on-one.
Lovely attack.
And Young, so good on return, his first game for the season.
The gentleman in the hat wants to hold in the ball. Oh, there's hats everywhere out there. Well done, people. Sun smart.
Margin now 41, biggest of the afternoon. Darcy and then Curvis. Darcy again, ball straight to Brown. Standing start, bangs it out of there. 2 and 2 on the wing. Knuckled down in the direction of McIntosh to Blight. Kicked a goal earlier this quarter. Back to Campbell and they retreat now. Banks. Dow. Shorts on in the middle. High ball. Light was there and so too Fowl. There he is, the debutant. John T. Fowl from Ballarat. Parents, sister, brother, girlfriend and 7 friends made the trip to be here for his very first game this afternoon.
I'll check with Nick Del Santo in a second how Shea Bolton is going down there. Still not on.
And Curvis down to McIntosh. Handball away to Hopper. Is there time here for the Tigs? Kicks inside the forward 50 and Pierce. Oh, spills the juggled mark. Got it away to Ryan. To Cox. And then to Warner. Back to Ryan. High bomb down the wing. His time ticks out on his third turn. And the Dockers pull further in front in the Barossa. Big quarter for the Purple. In the end, they kicked 6 goals to 1 in the quarter, and after leading by 2 points at quarter time, 10 points at the half, Fremantle have extended their advantage to 41 points. At 3/4 time, that man Shea Bolton, he's got one against his old team, did come off the ground. We'll get an update for you in just a moment. This is coming up next, the penultimate game of Gather Round, St Kilda and GWS from the parade at Norwood on the way.
All right, folks, there we go. The scoreboard hasn't. All right, there we go. The scoreboard hasn't quite updated there. It's actually the Dockers 13-8-86 at 3/4 time. Richmond 7-3-45. 41-point leads to the Dockers. This game is in the bag. There we go. It's just updated. Just running a little fraction behind. All right, let's go and have a look at the goal scorers so far in the game. And of course, it's all about one man kicking the goals today, folks. And that's the Fremantle. Josh Tracy kicking a career high today. He's got 6 goals, 1 from 10 kicks. He's kicking super straight there. Can he snag 4 more in the final term to get his 10 goals for today? Michael Frederick with 2 also for the Dockers. Hayden Young, Paddy Voss, Mark Reid, Murphy Reid, Alex Pearce, Shea Bolton, Jacob Blight. all singles for the Dockers. For the Tigers, they're giving it a good hard crack. Actually, they're not giving up in this game, folks, so don't be too disappointed if you're a Tigers fan. Morris Rioli there with a couple, the only multiple goal scorer out on the ground for Richmond. Sonsei, McIntosh, Lynch, Green, and Blight, the other single goal scorers. Just having a look at the disposal getters. Jacob Hopper, nearly into the 30s, 29. He's got 7 clear of anyone else. So he's having a good game there for the Tigers. So I said they're giving it a good hard crack, folks. Tigers not giving up at all. Andy Brayshaw, best for the Dockers on 22, followed by Caleb Strong on 21. Tommy Brown, Tim Turano, not too bad, 21-19. Jager O'Meara up to 17. Tommy Lynch not doing a great deal down there for the Tigers. That being said, he's not getting a lot of delivery down there either. All right, let's just roll on down. Toby Nankervis there up to 31 hit-outs, 13 touches, the big man for the Tigers. And, of course, Josh Tracy leading the way with 6 goals, 10 disposals, all kicks, 10. He's had 8 marks, a couple of tackles, and a hit-out as well. So that's pretty good. It would be pretty good to see him snare 4 more in the final term. I think, I think his teammates could be looking for him in the final term to try and get his tally up to 10. Always possible. He could snare another 4 goals coming into the final term. That'd be very good. There we go. It's just marginally behind the scoreboard. Now it's corrected itself. We got just under 2 minutes to go before the bounce of the ball for the final quarter. Don't forget, folks, following this game, we've got another couple of great games coming up. And, of course, that is St Kilda and the GWS Giants. I'll probably do the second half of that game. The second half of the St Kilda GWS Giants game I'll get to do. So apologies, I can't get the first half of that game done. I will get the second half done. And, of course, this evening we have Port Adelaide Hawthorn, the final 2 games of Gather Round. I tell you what, Gather Round, it's worked really, really well. 3 in a row for Freo. Let's go, Freo. 3 in a row. They're actually looking pretty good, Eddie G. The Dockers are looking pretty good. I'm just going to have a little bit of a sneak peek and see who the Dockers actually play next week. And Richmond. Next week, Richmond take on the might of the Gold Coast Suns there at Marvel Stadium. That's going to be a cracking game also. And, of course, the Dockers, I can't even see where they are. There we go. The Dockers take on Melbourne at the MCG next Saturday. You would think that would be in the bag for the Dockers as well. So they're going to keep their picket fence run going. I would assume start to climb that AFL ladder. All right, where are we? There we are. All right, let's get back down to the ground. Folks, don't forget to vote. What's the voting poll say? 56% saying the Fremantle Dockers will win this game. I think he could be right. 41-point leaders going into the final round. That's a big margin. That's a tough ask for Richmond. All we can ask for Richmond is they keep on keeping on, keep on doing what they're doing, and that'll hold them in good stead, as I said, for the future. The Tigers don't look too bad of a team, and I think in time, I think they'll definitely come good just in experience in the Tigers camp, but looking good in some of the processes they're doing. Dockers, though, just a little bit too classy today. 1 quarter to go. Let's head back down to the ground. So Dockers by 41. Can Tracy get 10?
Best, and it takes him to level on the Coleman ladder with Ben King, who's got 17 now. This is how he's done it, Dern.
So a lot of key forwards are very good coming up with their shirt front facing the ball carrier, and they come out and they lead and they mark the ball. Very few of those really good key forwards who do that can get the ball heading back towards goal as well. He's able to come up. If he's used, great. Like this, that's an awesome lead and grab. And then he's able to, if he's not used, turn around and run with the flight in the direction of the goal and get used as well, which is more the domain, like this, more the domain of a small forward. He just happens to be 105 kilos. and 196 centimetres.
A man at the top of his game, and he's been brilliant to watch. A man at the top of his game on the boundary. Nick Dal Santo. What's the latest? A couple of big names with some maybe injuries.
There is. Thanks, Cal. Yeah, the heat's starting to take a little bit of a toll. Both teams once even gone into the room to try and escape the mid-30s degrees that we've got here at the Barossa. It is actually a beautiful day, but a little bit too hot for football. You speak about a couple of those plays that are fatiguing. We saw Shea Bolton late in that third quarter. Cramping is what it looks like. We saw him swigging the pickle juice, which we still don't know how that helps, but somehow it does. So wait to see if he takes his place to start this fourth quarter. And also something a little bit unusual. Dean, you asked me about Tom Lynch in that third quarter and whether he's moving freely. So instead of coming from the ground with his team to go into the room straight after that siren at three-quarter time, he actually did a small fitness test. So clearly something not quite right with Tom Lynch. We'll also wait to see if he takes his place to start this last quarter. But it is hot. It is now about who can play out this last 30 minutes with the breeze in favour of the Dockers.
And Luke Ryan has been sub for the Dockers, which means Isaiah Dudley is in.
Are you going to get some looks here?
He's from Port Lincoln, played at Mallee Park alongside Jace Burgoyne. He's related cousin to Isaiah at St Kilda, and also Cozzy Pickett.
How old's he?
He's had 2 games for 2 wins. He's 21 years of age, overlooked in a draft, went to Salisbury High and became a teacher. Played at Central Districts before he was picked up.
Left shoulder there for Luke Ryan. We noticed that throughout the game that he had been strapped, so they're obviously monitoring and looking after him, managing him. Thought Bolton was probably going to be one of the big sub, but he's actually started this fourth quarter, so cramp and the pickle juice has made all the difference there.
Isaiah Dudley's got the moustache of a 50-year-old. He might be 21.
It actually did tell me yesterday.
I'm feeling for Tom.
So Lynch's subbed out, Bauer comes in.
He's running on 4 cylinders.
Dudley told me yesterday, Pop's here from Sejuna. He's driven all the way for this.
Good on him. I feel for Tom Lynch. It's hard yards at the moment.
Freo by 41 points as the final term gets underway. O'Meara, the first clean disposal, hunted after his own footy. It's McIntosh. Just paddles it out to the advantage of Green. Clever. Not according to the umpire. Throw. Trying to scoop it up. Dudley played under 18s for South Australia, same team as Wanganeen Millera. Also Corey Durden, who kicked a few yesterday. Jason Horn-Francis, all part of that team. As Floston hitting up, tackled, Brayshaw got him.
I'm not so sure he didn't get a fist to that.
I think he did, didn't he?
Because he just let the handball dribble out rather than give it a whack. But I think he's been stiffed there.
Is there a prime-time midfielder in the competition that tackles as ferociously as Andy Brayshaw, to be able to do that much work both ways as he gives it to Clark and the kick comes wide to Johnson?
I think he is the best two-way midfielder in the comp. He wins enough of it himself. He's had 23 disposals today, but he's had 9 tackles. He is so good defensively for this midfield group.
I don't think I'm speaking out of school. He's a better player than Connor Nash, but I wouldn't want to be tackled by Connor Nash. He's a beast. He's probably the best tackling midfielder in it, if he gets his hands on you. But you're right about the two-way play.
So Johnson trots in. His drop punt sails goalward and it's left. It's amazing when you think about all he does with ball in hand and the running goals and everything else, and yet his highlight reel would be filled with these chase down tackles and these wonderful moments. What a warrior he is, Andy Brayshaw, 150 games in.
Hopper's had a bit of it today. He was looking for Banks. The spoil came from Warner.
He's been good, Warner, particularly the second half. His intercept mark a couple of times, rolled off really well. He's had 2 intercept marks, 13 disposals. Another one of these developing young Fremantle players.
And shallow on the boundary throw in, but the Tigers share it around. Banks. Fumble there. Could prove costly for short.
Clean hands, once again, you don't accept it cleanly. You don't have sure hands, you invite pressure.
Switkowski to come in with the tackle. Nank's still going.
So that's clever. So he's cradling the ball. He's got the one-arm wing tackle. So he drops straight to his knees before the time is too long in tackle.
Darcy slaps it down. Clark's a quick player, but he goes to ground. O'Meara comes in. It pops up through Banks and now Taranto. Back to Banks. On the wing, the defensive side, looking for the attacking side. Blight was there. Pearce got a hand to it. Cox. Brayshaw. He's been everywhere. Pearce has been terrific. And now they're off through Johnson, through the centre of the ground. Here is Dudley. Keeps it low. The offload to Voss. Good on the regather. Out to Switkowski. He's unselfish on the left. He wants to straighten it up, and McIntosh with the intercept mark.
10,000 in the house, and there's plenty of them wearing purple. And all of them there, and I'm sure you at home, us up here, are just willing it towards Isaiah Dudley whenever he gets an opportunity.
I want to see a few dance moves.
He has got him, hasn't he?
This is his third game in pre-season signing for the Dockers. Kick heads down the wing, and Warner able to pick it off.
That was a bad kick by Hugo Ralph Smith.
7 lead changes in the first half. Richmond led by 11 points in both the first and the second term. The Dockers are pulled away thereafter. And a game they want to be winning for their ambitions this year as Chapman goes long in the Tracy direction and Curvis stands in the hole. Here's Dudley close to the boundary line as he picks it up, got it out. But Trezise was able to clean it up for Richmond, got it to Trainer, trying to clear that ball, puts it out on the floor. Really fast Rick goes and gets the footy. Might even be his kick, as you can see there. Andy Brayshaw's going to get it. Kick from home. He lays it up to the hot spot. Tracy's down there in the pack. The kick was offline, and then Curtis, his 150th for the club, able to take the intercept mark.
So wait on this 50 now. Dan Curtis, I know we talk about intercept marks inside defensive 50 for Ruckman. I reckon and he's in the top half dozen, but I reckon inside the last 15 metres, I think he'd probably be the highest in the comp. He just gets back to the last line so often, Big Nag.
Now, can the Tigers mount something here after Paddy Voss gave away the 50, cribbing over the mark? Inside 50, it'll go. The leap from Blight was a little bit too late. Steely Green's already kicked a ripper. And he goes with the flying shot right across the face. Green with one of the highlights today. And so many highlights, including that shot. Isn't it beautiful? The rolling hills, the vineyards either side. And a wonderful vibe in the sunshine. Mercury's hovering around 30 degrees for most of the day. It's been a spectacular weekend. There's still 2 more games to come. One in Norwood, in suburban Adelaide, in the east, and then, of course, Adelaide Oval for the big blockbuster between Port Adelaide and Hawthorn. I wonder if Jack Ginnivan's sitting in the hotel room at the moment practising the plane celebration.
Plane game. Power on the Hawks.
There'll be a few wizard hats out there, I'd say.
There's Chapman. Wonderful ground it is, the old Lindock Recreational Park, and of course Barossa Park, as it's been dubbed for gather round, as Young gets a handball away to Shaw. He's lost it. Young has been good on his return to Johnson, and now Chapman shifts it across the ground. That had to be perfect, and it was.
Great kick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Geordie Clark across the centre square to Banfield. Sends it to Frederick.
Now, if he cribs here, he'll probably pass off, you'd think.
Dudley hitting up short, ignores that option. He goes a little longer into the pocket. Bolton.
In? Is it in?
And it's out. Out the foot. The ball was right there.
Not quite. And Ben Miller, his former teammate, will get the free kick. Kalgoorlie boy.
Too short. There's the call. Boundary umpire right there on the spot. Precise. Debutant flows across in front, almost the double grabber to Jonty. Young, backwards.
Brendan Cox, bit of cramp as well for both teams.
Dudley marks in the bullseye. He's been told to play on. Frederick is down there. Player in front couldn't take the mark. Here's a chance for Bolton. He's kicked that over his shoulder. He's got his second. And Bolton, the premiership hero for the Tigers, just rubbing some salt in their wounds.
There's Brendan Cox. We'll get Nick D'Alsanto onto that. I think it is just cramp. He certainly felt the pinch after he came down, after he went for this mark.
Watch the left leg, because the toe point's down. The binoculars on. What are we, 25 metres away, where our vantage point is, and I put the binoculars on, you can see the muscle just twitching. It's just spasm.
Nice finish from Bolton. Reward for effort after lots of inside 50s.
Good pick-up path for the Dockers to get Shea Bolton in the off-season.
Yeah, wonderful opportunity to get that sort of high-end talent to your forward line. 2 goals, 3 today. Probably could have been a 5 or 6 goal game for him. Still time, I guess, to hit the scoreboard, but he's missed some golden opportunities. But yeah, that high-end talent in your forward line, really important.
Second generation Docker. Haven't had too many of those so far. Sarong to Brayshaw, and now to Darcy as the mids link up. Now the ruckman kicks inside the forward 50. Trezise comes through for Richmond. Got it to Brown. Clearing kick, got it back to short. Takes a one-hander.
They move.
Now 50.
Yeah, Sean Darcy played that circa 2015, then he just started walking sideways on the mark. There's the line short of it.
Just keeping an eye on his minutes. Big ruckman, Sean Darcy. So up to 72 minutes played out of 105. So they're obviously managing him a lot compared to most of the other players out there. Right thing to do on a hot day and first one back for a long time.
Looking for Dudley at one end, looking for Fall at the other as the kick inside the forward 50. Hands on it there from the debutant, no mark. Oh, now pushes. Seth Campbell just shoves Sarong after giving away the free. Richmond last year had 6 first-round picks. They took 7 players in the top 28. So we've seen the #1 pick, Sam Lawler, who unfortunately is missing today with injury. No Harry Armstrong. We've seen him so far. Today we get a look at Jonty Fall. Trainers played throughout. Only 2 we haven't seen. One is Taj Houghton, the second-generation AFL footballer, and then Miley. As the Tigers inside 50 again. At full forward, Bauer tackled hard, taken to ground by Pearce.
Pearce again.
So that's so clever by Alex Pearce. Well done. He had him wrapped up, and then he took his arms off the tackle to show the umpire he's hatching it. He's not trying to get it out. Well done. How smart's that?
He's been so good for the Dockers to start this season. Ralph Smith back to Steely Green, who kicked a ripper from the pocket there. And Dow with those long arms has taken the mark. That's
Yeah.
Oh, it's Jonty.
It's Jonty. And
Jonty Fall.
He's getting some swap and skin, low five, high fives after he's taken the mark, but before he's kicked the goal. Yeah, that's good. You congratulate the kid on doing well.
So it's been a tough initiation for Fall. And a long-term back injury to stress reactions in his lower back. No pre-season. Here he is in round 5. On debut.
Get in.
And it just sprays wide.
There's individual techniques. I know Nick Larkey pokes at them and he's a beautiful kick, but he just eased off that one.
Did 27 goals last year in his 11 games for the Rebels. And Ballarat team, GWV in the under-18s competition. Big 14.
Well, that's tough.
Explains the talent as Warner along the line. There's a perfect view of it there from the sky out on the full. Freo by 46. 7 lead changes in the first half. The Dockers have controlled the second. Short to Ross. In his 75th game, one of the leaders though for the Tigers. The young batch nowadays. Big leap from Power over the back, but a juggled mark behind it. Blight's trying to claim it. Ump's not interested. Campbell had it, tackled by Warner. Sarong goes and wins the footy. Draper gets it out of defence, and Trezise pick it off. Good story, this young man. 2022 playing community footy, and then in the VFL the year later and drafted in the mid-season draft. Turnover from the Tigers.
Young is just going to skid it out in front of a couple of players. Amos is there. He overruns it. Short just picked it up to Dudley, and it bounced off his chest. Voss could mop up, unselfishly gives it to Frederick, and he's booted his 3rd.
The turnover game today has been elite. The Dockers, that's their 11th goal from a turnover. Pat Voss, well done as well, giving it off.
But when you've turned over up that end of the ground, and they're all squeezed up, look at the pace of the blokes coming back now. Amos is quick for a key forward. Messiah there is quick. Voss makes his way back, and Frederick started inside defensive 50.
So Matthew Pavlich, the smalls have been really the difference for the Dockers so far this season. They're all impacting the scoreboard, and today you've had Bolton kick a couple, Reid with one, Fredericks booted 3, and Dudley only coming on in this last quarter. 3 of those 4 weren't at the Dockers last year.
Yeah, I think they've really worked on that small forward brigade. You think about Sam Sulkowski, what he does from a defensive perspective, but the ability to hit the scoreboard is so crucial.
O'Meara to Reid, and kicks inside the forward 50, he's Dudley!
Oh, that's a bit of an insight that the young fella is playing on. Just out-bodied him. Who did he trap under the ball there?
Big one-on-one win.
Is that Tresize?
James Tresize stands the mark. Dudley's on his way in to try and crack the ton for the Dockers. Dudley's kick is out to the right. In the end, it sneaks in from behind. It gets him to 3 figures, but it's not what the people came for.
Clever usage of the body, but Tresize has to be better than
Stronger than that, yeah.
We had the 4 goal and the Dudley goal on the bingo card, and we've got behinds from both of them, just teasing us at either end.
Still time, Corbin. There's still time.
Good hands.
That's a nice mark. Not paid. Looked right at the end. Green. And then trying to feed it. Trainer had it, lost it. And goes back. Bauer, who was the sub, has come on in the last quarter for Tom Lynch. Pass inside 50. Blight again getting his hands to it. Ralph Smith couldn't keep it in play. And he's battled hard to Blight, Jacob Blight, the 23-year-old who you spotted about this time last year playing in the VFL reserves, and we're impressed by him.
Played a glorious game in defence, and I think that's where he'll end up as an intercept marker. His hands are beautiful when he can see the long ball coming in, but that was wonderful defence by Carl Warner to get across and get the spoil in there.
Frederick was down in the attacking half, and now he's down back as Richmond can launch again. Only just the 1 goal so far in this second half after trailing by 10 points at half-time. So really running out of gas in this stifling heat. Happy to share it around. Boston. Skies it.
Oh, good effort.
Charging through, unable to take the mark. It's all Dockers down there. It was off hands.
It was Bauer who went for that big grab.
you, Dan.
Yeah, I didn't mind the absolute stretch, and he really left himself open. He'll be all right. He just copped a heavy hit to the midsection. Might have winded him a bit, but he's up again. He jumps out at Bauer, doesn't he?
There's a real go, yep.
Get a bit of craft in behind all that talent.
Tibbs trying to switch play here. And kick that outer wing. Trainer, grandson of Doug Wade, an Australian Football Hall of Famer, grew up a North Melbourne fan. Looks back inboard, not paid for Miller. Tracy sweating on him. Umpire calls for it. Josh Tracy's kicked 6, by the way, all of them before 3/4 time.
He's hungry for one more, isn't he?
We'll get into that 7 mark where Matt Taverner was the last to do it for Fremantle back in 2022 against the Bombers. Last Docker to kick 7 in a game. They're going forward here. Bouncing footy out in front of Tracy. Right on cue. Collects. Hand pass inboard. Brayshaw sets up Murphy Reid. A young man shoots goalward. He misses. Murphy Reid, the purple headband, the high footy IQ. Picked 17 in last year's draft. He was a Richmond fan growing up, actually, Murphy Reid. Had a good time to support the Tigers as well with those 3 premierships in his teenage years. Doc was pretty happy to get him at pick 17 when he was still on the board.
Ward with a floating kick. Draper's able to snare it. And you can't make anything of it. It's a jump ball. Fremantle by 54 points. They're going to go fly out tonight. They're heading to Melbourne. The next game at the MCG. There's a high ball and Young.
He's
Right
tough to get
place,
around.
right time against Brown.
He's tough to get around when he plays as the makeshift key forward.
189 centimetres, so he's not small by any stretch in terms of the way.
But he jumps.
He jumps well. He times it. You could see straight off the boot that he knew exactly where this was dropping. Speaking of IQ, I mean, Murphy Reid, you see it. For a young player, this guy's got it in spades as well, Hayden Young.
Broke his leg in the last game last year. Hamstring setbacks in the preseason. First game of the season. Resting down forward. He's kicked his second. And the Dockers are closing in on 3 wins in a row.
Yeah, and he's coming from the ground. They managed his minutes as well.
Yeah.
First game back, so 85 minutes for him. If you think about the other midfielders, Brayshaw and Strong, they're up sort of towards 90. And they've done it well because they've rested him forward, so it hasn't said, they haven't said, hey, okay, come on, you have to play high midfield minutes, go down forward and do that on Brown.
Will those numbers change more to midfield as he gets a better tank this season, or is he damaging forward enough as he is this one?
Well, I think it's a really good question. Corbin, this is for you.
Yeah, I've got one for you.
Okay.
Gather around, it's Wolfie time. We're just as classy as Barossa wine was the banner for the Dockers, but the big Wolfie time was the bit that interested me.
I needed to trademark that one back in the day.
I was about to say, did you bring that into the lexicon of the footballing
Yes.
public?
Great tag.
So right. Looks inside the forward 50 with the kick. Half volley pick up by Floston. It was clipped high.
Just back to the Young conversation, I think he'll play more midfield minutes. I think he's the most damaging Docker midfielder when he does get in there, but I like the fact they're resting him forward. He's damaging.
Morris Rioli keeps it alive, looks back inboard with the kick. Warner spoils it. Then the Clark to Brayshaw and Chapman. The Dockers again out of defence as that slow Freo chant. It's a bit of strength behind it. Sharp to Dudley. And travel well, the Dockers fans. Plenty of colours from the two WA teams around town as there have been. It's the whole competition more broadly, but plenty of people making a trip from Perth, Path.
Yeah, a lot of people are in town and they've loved it. You're right, it's both teams, both West Coast and Freo. There was colours everywhere leading into this weekend, and it's great to see. I know plenty of people playing golf around the place, visiting the vineyards, going up to Harndorf. It's been wonderful to see.
Shea Bolton dropped the ball on the ground, which suggests to me he's going to say, you know what, I'm going to turn it on here. I'm going to bang it for the 55.
Bolton loads up. That won't get there. Chance on the line, and then Curtis punches it away. You got anything more for me on Wolfie time, Pat? Is that a thing that the...
no, it's not about... Well, I mean, all AFL teams have a trademark and a sense of how they try to behave, and we used to use it in terms of how we wanted to align ourselves and how we wanted to play, given the maritime aspect of Fremantle and whatnot. Yeah, we said it before a game and it was broadcast live around the nation, so it was out there.
So the crowd officially posted at 10,028.
That's good.
We cracked the 10,000 as Austin cracked in the midriff and up high there from Voss.
He might have banged his head on the way down.
Yeah.
Did Wolfie time have a song? It makes me think of Hammer Time.
Got him very high there.
Yeah, and the head on
Well,
the ground.
it was more about warfare. I think I just slipped in the time.
Oh,
Yeah, that got him very high.
Yeah.
Say MC Hammer.
Yeah.
Were you a
Wolfie
fan?
time. Oh, no, that's...
Not good.
I
He in trouble
don't
for
think
that,
he's...
Beth?
Yeah, I don't think he's deliberate, but that is going to be... Well, we're
better
looking at
say
that. It will be
Nick's
looked
not
at.
happy.
You've got to be more careful. I disagree with the terminology. We've got to find a new one. You've got to have a duty of care, but that was very little duty of care in the spirit of the game. The rules of the game. I don't think he had malice in it, but the result is a nasty one. He'll go through the HIA now, and with 4.5 minutes to go, it's probably him done for the day.
Tough afternoon for Vloston, the 3-time premiership player. A couple of big leapers there. Remira.
Barra again, wasn't he? Just launched
Yeah.
with the ball. There he is. Roston getting some treatment. I'm sure that'll be looked at.
Fall and Bauer, that'll get the Tigers fans excited. Not the sight of Lynch subbed out of the game.
So the thing is, with someone like a Bauer who jumps at the ball so often like that, he cannot be the number one key forward. He's got to play a little bit wild and be the third man up to utilise that jump, and that requires a smart, strong, big key forward.
Chapman to Cox. Johnson breaks the tackle, loses the footy. Alive still inside 50 here for the Tigers.
Good pressure.
Well done.
They're done. They're going to lose this. They're down by 10 goals, but they're still having a dig at holding the ball in their forward line. When Tiger supporters won't like the scoreline, but
no, the effort.
Yeah, it's there. It's there.
Steely Green snapped that miraculous goal right where the boundary umpire's about to toss it in, early stages of that second term. It was 5 minutes in. They led by 10 points. Since then, it's been 12 of the last 13 to the Dockers. Just the one goal kicked in this second half, and that was to Jacob Blight. Campbell skies it. Oh, there he is again. Bauer with that beautiful leap. Loose ball out on the wing. Amos Dudley weaves his way around.
Give it back.
He's going to get it.
Step.
Some flash and some dash from Dudley. He takes off. He has one bounce. He has two bounces. He's had three. He handles over the top to Brayshaw. Keep running, Dudley. He can't. He's out of gas. Frederick says, I could finish it off. He missed the out mark in the end. Bolton hungry with the tackle. And the Tigers repel. Only as far as Warner, and Fremantle set up and go again.
Cal, the crowd behind me were absolutely cheering for Dudley to get the 1-2, but the poor fella couldn't go any further. He was cooked.
He was done.
The world knew he was going to put a step on, and they still couldn't catch him.
Still time for him here as Warner goes long and broad, make sure it's not happening. I mentioned that trip to Melbourne, so the Dockers spend a week away. Part of the agreement of gather round was no extra flights for the WA teams, and previous years they've played 2 in South Australia, stayed for the week, but just continue to hop across the Nullarbor and off to Melbourne.
And it was the doomsday double trip for them, of course, last year. Dockers fans won't want to be reminded about that. They lost to Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval by 3 points. And remember what happened to them, of course, Pav, in gather round. They lost by 10 points after Jordan Clark was pinged for swearing in that controversial one. So they did the trip, the double docker road trip, and came back with no points. Chance here for maybe to pick up the 8 points this time around. D's next Saturday.
Tigers a chance to win it back here. Nice work. Campbell takes the intercept mark. And short with the kick to Sonsi. Meanwhile for Richmond, they've got the Damien Hardwick Marvel Stadium blockbuster next Saturday night. Dinners in town leading the Gold Coast Suns, and of course Richmond have got a solid record at the Dockland Stadium, of course. Marvel having lost their last, or winless at least, in their last 11 there. And that's the Saturday night appointment viewing for the Tigers. And they're faithful, about to drop their 4th on the bounce. Trio through the middle late in the piece. Brayshaw to Bolton. He's going to get off the ground a winner against his old mob. Kicks in the middle of the ground, finds Sarong, short kick to Frederick.
Oh, you drop the hammer when you got speed like him.
Frederick pokes it inside the forward 50, looking to find Draper and picking it off his trainer. And takes the intercept mark for Richmond.
Mickey Dell, we've seen Josh Tracy on the bench for 5 to 6 minutes. Only a few left to go. Well, less than 1 minute. He's done.
He's absolutely done. He's not the only one.
Yep.
However, I feel like this is just the pecking order about who do you want to rest. You spoke about that 6-day turnaround. Got a huge game next week against the D's. They're in really good form, so this is about management. It's been an exhausting day. We have spoken about the conditions, and the Dockers have played in these conditions more than anyone in the AFL, so this is about player management.
Which was nice, trying to get it to Ralph Smith. And the speed wobbles up, and Bolton able to pick it off. Fair to say it's been a success out here in the Barossa the first year. The game's played in this part of the world, over 10,000 in. Highly entertaining, high-scoring game yesterday, and 7 lead changes here today in the first half before the Dockers pulling away after halftime.
This is going to be the Dockers' biggest ever winning margin against the Tigers. 2 points at quarter time, 10 at half time. It was 41 at 3/4 time. And the corks are popping in the Barossa. Barossa, the Dockers celebrate an emphatic 61-point win. Josh Tracy, the star, with a career best 6 goals. It was a dozen in the Barossa for Tracy, and they've won 3 on the trot, and they head to the MCG to play the Demons next Saturday afternoon. Final score 16-12, 108. Richmond 7-5, 47 in front of a crowd of 10,028. Stifling conditions. Millstone with a little pain to go with defeat. And it was another week, Matthew Pavlich, where the offensive game really clicked for Fremantle.
Yeah, it did. I thought their midfield got on top in the end. The likes of Brayshaw and Sarong and Young, when he was in there, were really important. But yeah, their ball movement, I think, has improved out of sight. They kicked 6 goals 2 weeks in a row from back half ball movement, and today again they were fantastic.
Let's get down to Nick Del Santo.
Well, Andy, you're probably used to these conditions. They are challenging. It felt like today was just about doing it for longer. Tigers were good in the first half, be able to break them in the second. Yeah, we knew they were going to come out firing. They're a really strong contest team, so we knew they were going to try and throw the first punch. And they did, kicked a couple early, but we were able to wrestle momentum back in our favour, and we played pretty close to 4 quarters of footy. Well, we spoke about that with Justin Longville before the game. He felt like he hadn't played 4 quarters of footy. How many do you reckon he ticked off today? What's the coach going to say? I reckon 2.5. I'd say the first quarter was a cross, second quarter was half-half, and then I think the last half we built the ball really well. A few 50-50s that we wanted really a lot, and we're able to finish on the scoreboard, which is nice. 3 big inclusions into the game. How did you see their performance? Yeah, I mean, Sean was huge today. Competed all day. That's all we needed from him. To see Youngie go forward, kick a couple of goals was awesome as well. Yeah, it's good to have a few of our big boys back. Standing in the middle of the oval, you're going forward, and you see Big Tracy leading out here. What are you thinking, and what are you saying? Where do you need to put the ball for him to do what he's doing at the moment? Honestly, you can pretty much do anything at the moment with him. Put it out in front, he'll lead up and take it. Put it on his head, he'll work his play under the ball. He's got some of the strongest mitts at the club, so we're just putting him in his airspace and let him do the rest. Tell us about young Dudley. We got really excited. The people behind me on the bench were like, they were more excited. He's an excitement machine. Yeah, he is. His story's quite different from a lot of other people. Was overlooked, trained on, got his spot, and now has just been playing the house down. Selfless, really crafty. I like playing with him. Tell us about the next 6 days. How do you prepare for that next match? Yeah, it's a tough one, so we'll go straight to Melbourne. Won't fly back to Perth. We love travelling. We do it a lot. I think we've got our routine really down pat. I know Melbourne haven't started the way they want to, but at their best, they're a really hard team. So we're going to have to lock in. Got to be strong in the contest again and hopefully get a dub. Well done. Great day. Thank you very much.
All right, folks, there we go. It was the Dockers' big winners, 61 points over the Tigers. Happy Dockers supporters. They did it well. Tigers gave a good yelp, but the Dockers all too strong. All too strong. Let's just have a quick look at the goal scorers and the disposal before we cross over to the next game, St Kilda and GWS Giants. Josh Tracy, well, he couldn't, well, I think he added 1 goal on there. Ended up with 6 for the day, so that was a fantastic effort by Josh Tracy for the Dockers. Frederick ended up with 3, Hayden Young with 2, Shy Bolton with 2, Paddy Voss, Reid, Pearce, all single goal scorers, and of course, for the Tigers, Morris Rioli with 2. Sonsei, McIntosh, Lynch, Green, Blight ended up with 1. Disposal counts. There we go. Jacob Hopper topped the table with 33 disposals for the Tigers. For the Dockers, though, it was Andrew Brayshaw on 33, Caleb Sarong 29. Tim Turano did pretty good there, also 26 there for the Tigers. I'll just quickly roll down here because we're going to head across to the next game. Well done to everyone in the live chat. Paul, welcome in. Hope you're having a great day over there in the magical land of Thailand. Fremantle Dockers 61%, the poll was. So well done everyone. You got the team right, got the win right. Here we go. That is the score, and that is it for this game, folks. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you want to tune into the next game, we will cover that one live in about 5 minutes. I'll be away for the first 40 minutes to the first half, but the game will be being broadcast, so you can listen in on the next game, which should be an absolute cracker. St Kilda taking on the Giants. But that's all we've got for this game from the Barossa Park in Adelaide. Dockers big winners, 16-12, 108, defeating Richmond 7-5, 47. 61-point winners to the Dockers here this afternoon. It's a great game. All right, folks, that's all for this one. Ciao for now. We'll see you in the next game.